Naruto Uzumaki hanging out as a defender for him, almost as if he's hoping someone comes for him. Wants to be able to capitalize on that because he has a blink. He's going to be getting Force Staff soon after. And Oscar's in the tree line. He does want to make some sort of action happen.
Yo, Lil Pump's coming down.
I was about to say, with Lil Pump coming in, maybe we can make that dream come alive. Got the roar coming out on Annihilate. There's a rolling boulder. Crush follow-up. What a counter initiation from Naruto. Oscar trying to TP out of it. Able to get out right before the Sunstrike connects.
Yo, Naruto, the realest homie, hits the timing to get the two-man crush to keep I Annihilate alive. That was sick.
You better believe it.
Haha.
See, that worked because it was tacked, but then it wasn't. Whatever. Anyway,
dude, we're weebs, all right. I literally have not seen an episode of Naruto, but we're weebs. All right?
I've never seen it either.
Believe it. The one thing we better believe is MJW does have his radiance. I don't know if he caught sight of us there.
This is really nice timing too. I mean, we've seen brewmasters that have been struggling in those radius, and
you know who's struggling right now? I Annihilate gets.
Oh, that's our first BKB use, and he gets the crit. I was about to be like, whoa, he's using BKB here. All right, what's he gonna happen? Is he gonna get some RNG coming in with that Phantom Strike, and then watch out, he's out because Ghostwalk already been committed, and yeah. Man, this Invoker's Mightiest is looking like something I would do.
Oh, not use it. He's been okay with it, I think. I haven't been keeping up with it. I figured you would, but you've been actually on point with everything else. Kind of like the Blink. Spirits coming out. Big fight in the top lane. Whirling Death as well. Chain through. Chakram on top of it. And I see the Magnetize. DK trying to run down Maseri. Gets the kill on that. Rubik just chilling up in the air. In the roar for the turnaround. Still Beastmaster goes down. Seal coming out. Stolen chains from Cash. But I think they'll be able to get away if they really want to disengage. MJW just putting a little bit of the haze on them. The drunken
Who are we
haze.
talking about disengaging here? Because MJW is getting murdered. And Annihilate wants to do something here. There's that tornado. Keeps off some of the pressure. Able to get on the little pump.
Well, it was looking...
Who are you talking about disengaging here?
It was looking like Mind's Eye was going to back up. But as soon as MJW stepped out of the tower range, they just turned on him and went in. So I'm pretty sure if he would have stayed close to home, they would have let him walk away with his life. But he just seemed to want to throw it away, want to take a little chip off of the lead that they have and hand it over to Mind's Eye, make it competitive. So they're willing to comply. But yeah, you're right. I don't think too many people are going to be running for the rest of this game. Much like most of the streets, there's just been a lot of in-your-face aggression. So it's very rare to catch somebody trying to get away with the tail between their legs. Not unless a fight that they know they can't win. But with that being said, there's another break. One of the rare breaks that we talk about. So just people hitting a couple of creeps, trying to see if they can get to their next items. Have a Lotus Orbs coming out on DK. Force Staff on Naruto. Could have just said the Slardar. Jack,
you know, we kind of mix it up with the whole name versus hero and etc. And that is just another way to refer to it. You know, nouns, pronouns, adjectives, the whole shebang, keeping it so that things are funky fresh. Cash has his Force Staff, though. That's going to be very impactful for him. And Beastmaster looking to either go into Necro 2 and 3 or get the Blink, then follow back on those higher levels of the Necro book.
I mean, if he got Necro 1, I'd like him to go ahead and get 3 because, Necro 1, that's a trash can item, man.
Necro 1 is food. Necro 3 is glory. But it looks like he wants to get Blink first, though, with how he's floating his dollars.
It's possible. Blink Roars are pretty strong. Gives them a solid initiation. Actually, the most solid initiation beyond a Blink BKB PA in your face. Which, I mean, you can't really complain about that with the way Masera's been this game. Sitting on top of the KDA chart, 7, 1, and 6. So, I'd have to call it some variation of reliable.
What have we here?
I can go with you on that one. Phantom Assassin will be getting that Basher in just another 100 gold. Probably a follow-up to an Abyssal Blade as well. And did we call out this Lotus Orb on Timbersaw? Because that is going to be dangerous in these fights.
I did. I totally did. I said that before I stumbled over the Force Staff on Naruto. Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, that's why I was asking. And all I needed was a yay, oh, and nay.
No, I got to be like you. I got to give you more than that. I got to give you the full explanation.
Oh, we got the arrow out on MJW. Fuzzy Sloth was able to find him here. Gets a lot of damage off. Force out a Primal Split. This is great for Fuzzy Sloth. Jukes out the dab.
Run.
I was about to be like, he jukes out that Boulder Smash, and now some more nonsense is about to happen here. Fuzzy Sloth, uh-oh, this is not too good. Amplified damage, and what they thought might have sort of been hitting on
Oscar, but he was able to get away from the rest of the combo, the Deafening Blast and all. So I Annihilate will just cut his losses and go back to base, heal up, and see if they can push what bit of an advantage they have now. I don't know if anybody walked in the Roach Pit, but he has rejoined us. So with 2 heroes down, that's sounding like a really good idea. MJW and Naruto found Oscar walking in the dark alley by himself, take him out. So that's 3 down. I hope DK, walks in and he sees Roche. It should be that time. Give us that fondue.
I would love some fondue. The ability to instantly restore 2,500 health, 1,500 mana, and say that you ate cheese in a video game. What's not to love?
I don't know. I'm honestly not much of a cheese eater, honestly. Not lactose intolerant, but just not the hugest fan of it. It looks like neither is anybody else on CES, as they kind of left it, and DK thought twice about picking it up, but he's holding on to the cheese as the Aegis is on the Invoker. Is that... I guess you would put it on the Invoker. Is that... Do you really expect him to, like, get blown up in a fight, though?
Invoker?
I mean, look who's in front of him. You have a Timbersaw cutting down every tree in the park. You've got Slardar. I mean, he doesn't want to stay in there, but he's got to get in there and crush some point in time. And then you have a Brood. That's a hard front line to get past.
The way I think about it is Invoker will do a lot more with a full HP mana pool and that 5 seconds of flex of the time of him dying / respawning under the Aegis helps reset cooldowns also. Okay. And when we're considering that he's got he's got 10 spells in his repertoire that he could be throwing down within a few quick keystrokes.
He's actually a wizard, dude.
Exactly.
And I guess the other benefit you have from it is the fact that if anybody wants to re-up on him when he gets back to life, you're the main target. Well, there's that, but the main target is going to be a PA, right? So she's going to have to be standing on top of him, making him a target. Kind of like what could have been.
BKB is going to have to not be used beforehand.
Right. Speaking of BKB and looking at I Annihilate, he's thinking about getting one in the near future to put alongside with the Lincoln Sphere that he already has.
I really like that idea because he doesn't have any other way to deal with the Earth Spirit Silence.
Yeah.
There's the Timbersaw who has a Lotus who's been throwing it on him in fights, and that's really it.
Yeah, I was going to point that out, but at the same time, I was going to say, while they do have that, DK would rather use that on himself since he doesn't have a Yules. So, yeah, there's 2 people who really don't want to be shut up in the middle of a fight, and it'd be nice if they'd be able to handle themselves. So, yeah, you got that call, BKB and a Lincoln's.
Well, at the least, DK could use the Hood of Defiance for himself and just hope that that extra magic resistance will help persist him to a time where he's not silenced and able to live, because he's got crazy regeneration. And that just comes with being a Timbersaw.
Yeah.
A little bit of echolocation coming out from Radiant as they throw out a scan. Know that there's no one going to be in that area. There's a dire sentry, but that's not something that a ward would... Yeah, wards aren't going to get caught out by a scan. Let's be real.
You never know, man. That could be at 707C. It's coming.
Oh, God damn it.
Haha. But We haven't really touched up on much of the dire items because I don't think we've mentioned the diffusal or the manta that Fuzzy has.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed and seen that diffuser go to great use, but not something we've directly called on. And I mean, look at what he's picking up behind that. It's going to be an MKB.
How useful that going to be? We haven't talked about Masera going down, so that means it is time to go on this tier 3 tower.
Oh my god, Mario's taking some heavy fire, forcing back on the Fuzzy Sloth. DK chipping away at it. I mean, Timber not really known for his right-click ability, but MJW on Bruce certainly is. And they're keeping up a great job here with this split push, and now Invoker probably going to go down. That's only an Aegis, though. We've got the roar out on the backside. MJW not going to be able to use a Primal Split right now. Tries to do something with the Lotus, and no, it's not going to be successful. Fuzzy Sloth jumping back off here. Disarm on Oscar. He'll drop. DK now. Just absolutely destructive chaos coming out of here. And we've got a buyback. MJW did it, and TP to a shrine, trying to come back in on this bottom tower. They're continuing up the push here very well from CES, and this is very, very difficult for them to deal with. Jakiro, Liquid Fire. Ugh.
I mean, they've made the assumption that there's no buyback on the PA because that would have came out as soon as they took out Annihilate. So they're trying to get the racks down before the PA is up. Masera's back, but there is no Oscar still holding on to his buyback. Question is, will they be able to get the racks and get out? You see the roll coming in, split daggers, but no jump from Masera just yet. Just going to forfeit the melee racks. Fuzzy trying to get some space, but they're stunning coming from the daggers. And they get the crush on the Fuzzy Sloth.
Oh, that whole god, so down. Much damage. But look at that. He's able to get saved by the help of his friends, Fuzzy Sloth. Just getting pushed out of that ice path, pushed out of the direct fire of the meteor and all. We got to see some action here coming out on these Primal Split Pandas. MJW doing a great job. And oh, look at that. We've got Primal Split stolen by Cash. The M word on the Rubik might be happening.
Oh. I mean, but it's a question of are they going to be able to find the space to actually use it. Now they've lost their bottom rack, so they're going to have a hard time pushing out and getting across the river with their team. Because, I mean, they don't really have the greatest wave clear. And that's looking at a team that's already been in their face, walked across with the Aegis. So I won't be surprised if they're if CES is perfectly willing to just meet them at the river time and time again if they poke too far out of their base. They've fallen back and they've farmed for now, but I mean they're still in complete control of this game. 17K net worth lead. All the items coming in as well, and whenever MJW wants to go back around, he can start taking map control as he has the gem in his pocket. So yeah, Cash has that split we were talking about. Okay. But I will say something that's a little more helpful is Masera picking up the Abyssal Blade. But that leaves him. Did he just buy back? I actually don't remember.
No, he didn't buy back, but he bought out.
Yeah, he doesn't have the money for it, so they found MJW, Roar, and some axes. Take him out. Just wandering a little too far, but they don't see the gem, or maybe they do. They'll give it to Cash. Cash? Bruh.
Bruh.
Gem? Hello? Hello?
Nope. Completely forgot about it. Why do we care about a gem?
Maybe see this Invoker who's TPing out after taking out a tier 3 tower in the top lane. Don't really need it, as they have caught the dragon, but the Ghost Scepter not enough. Just
Mario throwing out a nice path now. We got the Primal Spit already used. The double Stifling Dagger hitting in on DK, actually stunning him out. And now Masera with the BKB about to go down. Needs to disengage. They're just going to look to take out this tier 2 tower. And if you look back in the Dire base, there's these two range creeps. They've just been killing the range racks. Hit by hit. Every time. Taking away 7 HP. And no one's doing it because it's just a range creep. But
the real MVP.
The range creeps did so much damage to this building. It's insane.
Oh man, but it's gonna take more than a lone range creep to take out the rest of the racks. Don't have to worry about towers as all of them are down. Annihilate's going to clean up the top shrine, or anybody can come defuse that threat. But with that, Cash is kind of poking his head around with this invis rune because he understands that that means somebody has to be afoot. And he's behind Annihilate. I like the reserve to actually wait, because if he would have lifted him right there, he'd just be dead. Nobody could have got to him in time, but he's still stalking him and opting to let him go because nobody wants to come in pursuit.
Did he really have a chance, though?
I mean, if somebody would have came to help him, that's what I was getting at, but he was just making sure that he left. I don't think they saw Annihilate in the bottom lane just yet, but you could probably take a guess that he's around in the neighborhood looking to see if somebody comes off of the steps.
Dire's bottom shrine is under attack.
Man, Timbersaw is just absolutely out of control with the amount of farm he has in this game. Keeping up with, and at some point may exceed that of Invoker's GPM, actually.
I honestly think it'll take a couple of kills, as a lot of the farm seems to be going to Annihilate in the lanes and just bouncing around the jungles whenever they're up. Also still has that Midas, the oh so holy Midas. But I mean, the big thing about DK, since we were talking about him, is he's thinking about getting an axe. So that's going to be even more damage on the table, even more space control to stop anybody following behind the PA and their Earth Spirit as they dive in on the CES squad. They're looking around, thinking about Roche.
That's gonna be really hard for them to deal with, because if Masera is already out of his BKB, then what are you gonna do?
Well, at this point in time, you're honestly going to pray, because CES just got even more of a gift, Roche spawning right in front of a DD rune. And I mean, Mind's Eye knows, but they have to be really careful.
They have smoked in the pit in order to get back out of it, and you're right. They are going in on this. Brewmaster using the BKB in order to get off that primal split. Jumping forward, looking to try and pressure them out, and if anything, they are securing the Roshan now. Throwing the Earth Spirit, or the Earth Split into the pit, and now Lotus and Oscar with the snatch! What a play, but Oscar will fall from this, so will Lil Pump, and Mario is just looking good off this one, and now Oscar needs to be careful. Naruto Uzumaki jumping in, getting off that crush, throwing out an amplified damage on him too, or the corrosive wave, excuse me. Now back on Naruto Uzumaki, he's gonna go down! Masera just doing absolutely outrageous amounts of damage, and now back on a catch. Sunstrike, though. There it is. He's going to go down. Fuzzy Sloth shooting out an arrow, and he's dead too. Oh, Annihilate just murdering everybody here, and it's not done yet. Masera, he is the last one standing, and Annihilate taking some safety from inside the pit, but he has the Blink Dagger jumping on top of him, and now he takes
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Masera!
Wait a minute.
Do it!
Wait a minute. Not like this.
We're not going to see it. We're not going to see it. Do the boot switch. No! He's disarmed still. The chain! DK takes him out. Rubik buying back off that.
Yeah, they got to protect the tier 4s.
Yeah, I know. We got these siege creeps, man.
That was looking so scary for Annihilate, because DK just ditched him and was already in the middle lane. He was like, bruh, help, I can't take this PA.
Guys, I started this. Can you help me? I was under the impression that there was going to be people to help me. Help.
And speaking of Annihilate, doesn't look like he needs help as he takes down the Earth Spirit, looking to get Cash.
Cash fought back for this, so if he goes down, that's going to be even more treacherous overall.
I'm kind of wondering why nobody else is buying back at this point, because they have 3 buybacks. There's one coming out of Masera.
Beast Pass to respawn, and Masera bought back with him. Roar coming out on Annihilate. I think they'll be able to get him here, but who knows? The Lotus Orb, the Crush follow-up, the Ice Path also. Now Masera in a rough spot. He won't have BKB for a full minute. Using Phantom Strike to jump back to his ally. Oscar does go down. Oscar has buyback available. He's going to use it. Naruto jumping forward. Crush again on Masera. That's going to be a double kill. DK getting triple, actually. Cash in part on that, too. 26K net worth lead for CES. GG has been called by Mind's Eye. We got the first game of this best of 3 series going his way, and Lil Pump just trying to throw a little bit of action out there at the end with his ultimate and then eating that refresher shard. What a match. CES taking a very decisive victory against Mind's Eye. Only 43 minutes, too. And with a 28K net worth lead at the end, it's not surprising. As we look in on these graphs, we see how much of an advantage that they had, and ultimately, they just played well. The Beastmaster just couldn't do it.
It really felt like they were out of control for so long in that game. Like, early on, like at the 20-minute mark, they almost crested over the 10,000 net worth lead. It really seemed like Mind's Eye still had a chance when that Roche fight went the right way for them, when they kind of got almost a full wipe without losing most of their team.
Right.
But after that, I mean, they sprung right back up, and then just kept getting crazier and crazier. The Invoker, DK doing massive amounts of damage. I want to take a peek on the scoreboard and see how much he dealt. Yeah, second highest, only to Invoker was above him. Really, really great teamwork from CES. It felt like they had that game in the bag for a while.
Yeah, I credit a lot to the lanes, because if you think about what was happening in the lanes, time and time again, we were talking about a kill on the bottom, killing the top lane, and they got so much of an advantage that they were able to literally just steamroll down and take tier 1 and tier 2 without any contest. And at some point in time, Mind's Eye had to come down in full force just to handle DK or anybody who was down there, and that was giving all the space in the world for Annihilate to get his items online, for MJW to finally get his Blink Dagger. And with that being said, that meant that Macero was kind of behind the ball. Fuzzy Sloth didn't really have anything going for him, and from that point on, Mind's Eye was just on the back foot trying to see if they can climb their way back into the game. Sure, they stole a couple of Roches, but like you even said, Silva, what did that really amount to at the end of the day? In the last Roche fight, Oscar and Lil Pump literally went in, took the hit, took the Aegis, took the cheese, took the refresher shard, and they still got bodied.
Yeah, I could not find who got the refresher shard.
It was Lil Pump.
Lil Pump.
They literally took everything, robbed them blind.
But still, in the end, it didn't matter. They were able to wipe the entire team. Rubik forced to buy back just to keep the tier 4s alive. And game 1, gonna go over to CES. Any obvious Purse.io play of the game you can think of?
Pick a Roche fight.
Yeah, player's choice.
Pick a Roche fight.
I'd say the
It
final
comes down
Roche
to,
fight.
like one of those Roshan fights. Maybe, as you had mentioned, the last Roshan fight, because Annihilate was just jumping in and just laughing on him, and Macera could have taken it because RNG, but it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Yep.
RNGesus was not blessing Macera at that point in time when he needed him the most.
All right. I believe we are going to be hopping into our next game very shortly, so we'll take a quick break, and then we will be right back with our second game of the CES vs. Mind Eye series. Thanks.
Calling all Amazon shoppers and lovers of Bitcoin. Want to enjoy huge discounts while shopping with Bitcoin and save on millions of products? Purse.io is now better than ever before. With Name Your Discount, users stand to save an average of 15% on all their purchases. Buy now. Instantly search for Amazon items on Purse.io and save 5% just by using Bitcoin to check out. Purse.io. Finally, a reason to use Bitcoin.
All right, we are back. Sky, Doggy, how we doing?
Doing
We
well.
are good. Fresh to death, I'd say.
Fresh to death. I love it.
I don't know if I'm that fresh, but I'm fresh
All right,
enough.
well, I mean, up to the point of death.
Fair enough.
So we had a riveting game 1. We're about to launch right into game 2. CES versus Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye will be fighting to stay in the tournament. They are going home if they cannot pull a win out here and force a game 3. Will CES be victorious? We are about to find out. I'd give a countdown, but I've only been right once, and I don't want to ruin my 100% win streak on
Yeah,
countdowns.
and with everybody here sitting in the lobby ready already, I don't know about that.
It's spooky. It's spooky.
Sounds like you're a fraud to me.
All right, all right. I'll do a 10-second because that's how scared I am. It's not gonna go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
No pressure.
2,
No pressure.
2 Mississippi. 1 Mississippi. Are we live?
Nah. That's a 50-50 if I've ever seen one. Good try, though.
I tried. It's my best effort. Top-notch content here.
Was that really the best you had, though?
I don't know. I think I could have given it a good old 20-second countdown and we would have had it.
Possibly.
Because here we are, going to the draft phase. I think I just said draft phrase. Band pick, draft phrase.
Draft race.
Who will get Spirit Breaker first to the game?
Is that what we're calling out? Spirit Breaker? That's what we're in on now?
I don't know if he'll
he's
make it
I
to
think
the draft.
he's strong. Strong boy. Night
He is,
Stalker's
but-
already gone.
I don't think Spirit Breaker makes it through this, honestly.
No, they haven't been. He's too reliable. It's just easy games when you have a Spirit Breaker.
It's so funny that he's so reliable, but the thing that everybody notes about him is random.
His 70%. Yep, there he
Uh-huh.
goes. Already gone.
See?
It's not really 17% if you just plan ahead and hit some creeps, don't bash them, and then go get your guaranteed bash.
All right. You're talking about stuff that we don't discuss. The PRNG. Get out of here.
You don't want to let those secrets leak
Nah.
because you're going to get bashed more in your pubs.
Pretty much, man. Like, it's not like I'm playing Spirit Breaker, so
You should be. He's a blast.
I really should.
Not in my recent experiences, but hey, we all got our different stories to tell.
That's true. This is true. Top ban on Mind's Eye. It's got to mean he's something. So we have the Furion removed again by Mind's Eye.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Still
same
not-
with Nyx on CES. This is looking to be very similar bans to last time. Will we get any respect bans from the picks we had last?
Well, I mean, with CES, it kind of makes some sense because they just ran Invoker, so they want to leave that option on the table later on down the road.
True. Yeah, the Invoker did really good work for them, as did the Timbersaw. I was impressed with both of their play.
Dire team back.
No Beastmaster this time. Sorry,
Womp
Mind's
womp.
Eye.
Not like it really did enough overall.
Radiant team pick.
And no Brew. So we're going to see some more unique offlanes this time.
Team pick.
Or we're just going to see a Winter Wyvern.
Have they played the Wyvern? Let me check. They did. They played the Wyvern 2 days ago. Okay.
10 seconds remaining.
Have they played it more than once? I only see them playing it once. But
Yeah, that's Mario's boy. They were not successful with it in their last game against Gorilla's Pride, which is why they're here, but they believe in the Winter Wyvern. So we'll see if they can change the story here against Mind's Eye. Prove its capability.
I don't think they have to prove it. They just need to harness into it and actually get it to work for them because it's still like one of the most, or probably the most picked support right now all across the globe.
He provides so much utility against physical cores. Like if they had a Wyvern last game, I mean, they still won against the PA, but that basically just like cuts PA out of the game completely. What does a PA do against a cold embraced unit? You can't really do much of anything.
Tag in a friend and hope they can clean up the mess.
Yeah, find a Pugna.
Sounds about right. I'm liking this start out on a Rubik with Mind's Eye here.
They like the hero. They're confident.
I don't like it so much because it's not like Cash is shown to be like a super outstanding Rubik, like the kind where you have to think to ban it against him. And they haven't seen any picks beyond the Winter Wyvern, so you don't know what kind of spells they're going to leave him with to even take. I mean, sure, he has Winter's Curse at this point, but what else that's really strong? Again, this is the same scenario we've seen recently, looking at like some okay steals and an Earth Spirit. Rubik can't really use anything of Earth Spirit. Well, you technically can, but it's like one of the most situational things ever.
10 seconds remaining.
So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of seeing this first phase Rubik so far.
First phase Rubik with a puck backing it up.
I really like the Earth Spirit pick because against a Rubik, he's not going to be really providing the Rubik too many powerful spells. Wyvern has great stuff to steal from, but Earth Spirit, you're not really going to have a good time.
Thanks, Sky. No, that's what Sky does to me.
No.
I'll say something, and he'll give me the run back of close to what I was thinking. It's like, okay, I really don't need to be here. But there is actually some other benefit from taking Earth Spirit as well. It's a deny pick of some degree, and it's a deny pick in the sense of having a lot of magical damage that would blow through a cold embrace target. So
Yeah.
there's some duality to picking it up there.
That's a great point.
Like I
And
said,
he's one of the top roamers, too. He's one of the
easily.
best.
10 seconds remaining.
All the good stuff is getting banned out, all right?
I wonder why.
Might have something to do with them being the good stuff.
Yeah, let's just ban all the bad heroes and play with the OS frogs. That sounds like what needs to happen here, man.
Yes.
Life Stealer and a Timber and an Underlord. Wonder why Underlord?
10 seconds remaining.
I love Underlord, and he's a really big top pub stomper right now. I think around a 57% win rate. I'd have to double check which MMR bracket, but that is something certainly worth mentioning. And he has that whole Rescue Ranger Wisp complexity that's available behind him, where he can just, double click that ult button and bring him and anyone nearby back to the well.
Or wherever they're going. Doesn't specifically have to be back, because the few times we've seen Underlord, there's been just a lot of mobility across the map. So yeah, just really taking them anywhere where there's creeps, anywhere where there's just any recon point, if you will.
Yes, my boy!
All right. There he is.
So I don't think CES would really be interested in picking heroes like Quap, Marana, anyone that has a good escape that can get X right back. Kunkka is such a great hero. I'm going to start rooting for Mind's Eye a little bit more right now, now that we got him picked up, to just show his raw strength.
There's nothing wrong with bias. There's nothing wrong with bias at all.
Got to root for the underdog. They're down a game. I want to see a 3-game series.
I kind of fear for this Kunkka though early on, because like I was saying in the beginning of the cast, like he's pretty good for catching mobile heroes like you said, but lanes it's kind of hit or miss with him.
Right.
Especially if there's nothing to set him up. So right now, what does he have at this point?
Just
he
Rubik.
has Rubik, but the big thing that implies is that they have to go together at all point in time. And for that to even work, that means they need like some kind of a really aggressive lane to force the CES supports to sit with them, or Mind's Eye needs to get 2 more cores that can handle themselves to allow the Kunkka and Rubik to go around at will.
So who would be the pick if you wanted to start with a really aggressive lane on Mind's Eye? Who's that carry pick?
With what they got going on here, I'm seeing something that synergizes with that X mark catch and things behind it. Something maybe where they're able to use an AoE.
I like that pick.
The Jug?
Yes, keep going though. I'll
Yeah,
explain
yeah.
why I like it.
I'm thinking that we could see something almost to like the effect of like, jeez, even like an Ursa from Mind's Eye.
5 seconds remaining.
Mine, Urza could be pretty good.
Urza's
And
real
something
good.
to just like blow them up when Kunkka pulls them back.
And I'm thinking into the direction of physical more so than magic. I'm kind of disregarding whatever Winter Wyvern does, because, I mean, if Ursa Bear is getting those Fury Swipe stacks built up while they're in Cold Embrace, that just means that as soon as they're out of Cold Embrace, they're doing more damage. So you can still build those stacks while they're frozen, which is one of the double-edged swords that kind of comes when you're running a Winter Wyvern.
Yeah.
Not to get hung up on the Kunkka, but he's also a very good pick against Puck. So
Right.
that's not like what you said regarding Earth Spirit versus Wyvern. It's good to deny it. Now that is a good combo with X. That is pretty strong. Bloodseeker can hold his own in lane.
Right.
Depending on how bad the matchup is, he can just sustain forever as long as he's getting his last hits.
10 seconds
So I
remaining.
like that pick. The question now is just mid puck or offlane puck.
They really have the choice still. I mean, you could have a mid Bloodseeker, safe lane blood.
Wow.
Yo, the rivalry match?
Yeah. And even I'd say Rubik counts as a rival there too because he loves stealing off that watermelon.
Oh man.
I am loving this. Rubik, who picks a Tidehunter into a Rubik? That's what I want to know first, okay?
5 seconds remaining.
It's
Somebody
definitely
who-
an in-your-face pick.
Somebody who's thinking that they're either going to catch Rubik a lot or they're going to have a good enough game to where Rubik won't have the mobility to get in the strong positions for Ravage. Because I mean, just like last game with the split, like you can steal all the good spells that you want, you can steal all the big ults that you want, but as long as you're not, as long as you can't get into position to use them, or you're never catching them over committing, it doesn't really matter that much. And I'm thinking like the main objective of this Tide isn't to be like the big blinking initiation with a Ravage, but more so just the big girthy frontliner. Like in my mind, CES's last pick is going to be something to just sit behind the Tide and just wail away. Something along the lines of like Sniper. They have the first pick, so Mirana's still on the table, although she's one to go in to some degree. Something to that effect. Something that'll probably pick up a Dragonlance.
I like the sniper idea. That makes me think it's going to be a Storm if they're banning anti-mage. Kaya Gaming.
But there's so many big mana heroes that could be in this mix of things, and
Got him.
Got him.
there you go. You got your Storm, but I think it's still very likely to have a co-op in on the other side. Unless they don't want this puck to be mid.
Yeah, they have to decide. Puck, they don't have great catch for the puck if they offlane it. So they can. I think it's fine.
He'll be able to get away with that in the offlane, that's for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Chaos Knight or something really like. It's too a lot. It's Wyvern can do too much against a CK though. That's cool. Okay, so it is going to be a puck mid against the Storm with the mag going offlane.
And safe lane, Bloodseeker. Yeah, they're opting to empower themselves, pun slightly intended, more so than worry about what's being presented to them across the line from CES.
And now we saw the raw power of what having a full lineup of empowered heroes is, or as many as you can. Like the Jug was able to just tear through people. Now imagine that you have the Mag. He's probably going to be building into like a more of a hitter build than just the pure caster like refresher build you see sometimes. Imagine the two of them blood raged and empowered. Even Kunkka could transition eventually. It's a lot of damage output.
Yeah, Kunkka totally could. He the only thing he really needs to catch is Storm Spirit. I mean, it's not entirely reliable on Jug. Catching Earth Spirit would be nice, but for position, how important is that really? Tide and Wyvern aren't going to be the best at running away. Wyvern being slightly better than Tide. So yeah, maybe we could see more of the, I think it was the Lanham build who brought Kunkka back in competitive with the Armlet Kunkka.
Yeah. Someone is going to want to pick up a Rod of Atos at some point because it's true they do not have a ton of lockdown for Storm Spirit. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing one of those come out maybe by the Kunkka or the Rubik.
It's more, if anybody, I think it'd be the Kunkka between the two.
Yeah. All right. Good luck. Have fun. This is game 2. Mind's Eye is facing elimination. Who will the victor be? Good luck. Have fun.
This is going to be fun. DK throwing out a little bit of a taunt at the beginning, at the entrance of his lane. I guess maybe playing tribute to the lane in itself. So we'll have DK on our Juggernaut in the bottom lane. Mario, Winter Wyvern supporting. Annihilate will be our Storm Spirit. Naruto Uzumaki on the Earth Spirit. And last but not least, we've got MJW as our Leviathan, the Kunkka.
Well, I would give you an introduction on the bottom lane, but it looks like they found DK. Cash missed the pullback. That kind of happens sometimes when you play Rubik, where you think after you get the telekinesis that you click back, but it just doesn't happen. Can't really fault him for that. But he was assisted with Lil Pump on the Kunkka. Oscar going to be on our off-lane Magnus, excuse me. Fuzzy Sloth going to be taking up our mid Rubik, and Masera slowly working his way to the top lane with the Bloodseeker.
Did you just say they were going to have a mid Rubik? Because you were getting me excited for a second.
Did I? Because I meant to say mid Puck. I probably pulled a U. My bad.
Hey, wouldn't be the worst time. And all right, DK's taking some heavy fire here. He's spinning to winning.
I think he's the one firing right now.
Pump. He got it. DK taking him out. I can get behind that.
But can you get behind the firstblood.io?
Yes. Yes, I can.
And with that, Lil Pump, he TP'd to the top shrine. I thought he was going to go up there to help Masera, but they're just going to leave him to a
only border mid lane, connecting in on Fuzzy Sloth. He doesn't have phase shift here. Only the orb. Annihilate getting some nice space off of this one. Lil Pump comes in like he's going to help him out, and Annihilate's just like, what? I'm going to slap you too.
I mean, he did plenty of help. He called for a little bit of disengage with the Torrent, came in there and took some of the harass from Annihilate that could have been going on to the Puck instead. So he did more than enough to defuse the threat of Naruto in the middle lane. And it looks like he's finally going to join the duo up top to have a complete tri-lane and get this Tide. But the problem is they've already allowed Tide to have level 2. He has the Kraken Shell skilled up with his Anchor Smash. So he's looking pretty beefy as is. But they're still going to try him with the Torrent. Telekinesis
a lot of
ready
damage
to roll.
off on him right here, and they're not going to have another Torrent for another 10 seconds, so MGW needs to be careful. Salving up, going into the tree line, grabbing off that Ring of Protection, which is now at the side shops, which is something that I need to more remember, because that exists now, you know?
Yeah, it's aside from
it's
the
taken
things,
used to, you know?
Yeah, aside from the things that have been taken away from the Tide shop, more specifically the rings of region and health, like everything that's been added, it's going to take a while for people to get used to.
Yeah, Stout Shields aren't on the side shop anymore.
Oh, heaven forbid if you actually have to come the lane with your Stout instead of like taking a Quelling Blade and hoping you get a bounty room. Oh, no.
Or like starting off with 2 slippers of agility and going there, buying a stout shield and making an item that doesn't exist in the game anymore.
I would say rest in peace, poor man shield, but that's more of a good riddance.
To you, and that's okay.
I think you're in the minority of people who actually want it. Actually, I know that.
Well, you just got to keep things funky, and that's what's happening here in the mid lane. And I'm on Sloth, and we have that Kunkka Torrent coming out too.
He's actually been fairly accurate with the torrents. I honestly wasn't seeing if he hit the one in mid, but Lil Pump's been pretty high in the stats count with his torrents thus far. It would have to be like somewhere in the 80s with the ones he's thrown. Something that I was kind of worried about to start things off. He is level 2, so if he can ever find himself right behind somebody, he does have a guaranteed setup with the X. He might use it as he smoked up with Cash, coming to the middle lane, seeing what they can find. They see Mario.
Uh-oh, Mario is not going to be looking good. He hit with the X. There's that torrent connecting in. Fuzzy's Lots coming in with the orb. Cash finally using lift. Dropped down to the low ground, actually. Closer to the Roshan pit. Mario wants to see if he can get a deny, and it's not going to happen. Fuzzy Sloth going to pick that one up. Backing on here on Annihilate in the mid lane. He's doing okay. CSY 16-3. Looking at that puck at 13-6, but net worth relatively even, especially after that last kill.
Yeah, Sir, just wanted to pause the game real quick and congratulate the trio for getting that kill. It's probably some lag, let's be real. It's been kind of been plaguing us here in some of these later games in the streets, but just take a second to breathe. Think about what's going to come in the near future of Dota, and hopefully we'll be able to get back in there soon.
And we got pauses for no understanding, and it looked like a little bit of lag. What do you think about Oscar here off in as that Magnus? Because he's getting pressured a lot by Uzumaki and DK. And the way I look at it, this isn't a lane that he actually sits in.
I mean, he's going to have to make do because, again, with the wonders of 707 and the disappearance of an Iron Talon, he's not going to be able to really fall back to the jungle for a while. Like, if he gets his soul ring sometime soon, then sure, that's an idea, which he has queued up and he has his gauntlet of strength for. But until then, he's really going to just have to tough it out and at the least get the levels so that he can make the shockwave work when he has to go back to the jungle. And the only thing he really has to worry about at that point is making sure there's no big push on the tower reminiscent to the first game. So he's struggling right now, only has 3 last hits to his name as compared to MJW, who has 19-4, second on the network, or second on the last hit chart, excuse me. But there's still a chance for Oscar. Just a chance that's going to have to come back in maybe about 20 seconds as he's going to refuel up in the well and come back to this bottom lane.
Gonna need to make some magic happen here, or at least that's what I'm thinking.
A lot of it honestly won't come down to him. It'll be if Lil Pump and Cash can make enough noise in another lane to guarantee that Oscar will have a one-on-one with DK. But I don't think, like you said, I don't think he really wants to stay in this lane too much longer because he's already 2 levels behind, well, really a level and a half behind DK. So that means at some point in time, getting split in many pieces is going to be something he worries about. And it'll come sooner rather than later as DK hits level 5.
You know, I'm wondering what they're going to be able to do here to put some pressure on the Juggernaut, because just Jug and Magnus in the lane, not too foreboding of a good time, but mid lane is where they're going to put the pressure on. X marks the spot, Torn connecting in on Annihilate, Fuzzy Sloth with the waning. There's that boulder from downtown. Trying to follow up on Fuzzy Sloth, and doesn't look like they're going to have it there. Naruto needs to be careful
really
here. Fuzzy Sloth face shift off on that. One more hit will be all they need on him. He's going to be able to take him down. Naruto. What a rotation coming in from Masura. Able to pick that up, and Lil Pump, one more shot. He is out of there. Annihilating. Destroying him here.
So yeah, that was a 2 for 2, but I have to give that to CES. Let me double check. Well, the network chart or the recap says that it goes to Mind's Eye, but you have to talk about who's getting the kills at these points. Fuzzy Sloth went in and gave his life over to Naruto, and while that was happening, that allowed I Annihilate to come back in and get a return kill. So I think that'll help him out more at the end of the day. Net worth chart kind of agrees with me, as our mids are pretty much neck and neck. Fuzzy is just trying to hold on with literally 3 gold lead, which will go away in a second. Shouldn't even note it, but small skirmish at the end of the day.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But speaking of bigger things, I see Oscar kind of venturing into the river to see if he can hold on to this haste rune for his puck, because again, he does not want to show face in the bottom lane at this tower because DK has the Omni Slash ready to roll. So it's going to be really hard for Oscar to force his way in and put any kind of a defense, and as soon as these creeps goes down, you know he has a bullseye on his head.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Didn't even need to mention the top tower because MJW has been like creep cutting for about the past 2 minutes. Like, this is looking like game 1 where CES is just crushing the lanes. I say crushing, but mid is closer, but it's still another scenario of how can they stop the side lane aggression? How can they stop their towers from just collapsing one by one? You don't really want to go on the Tide because he's level 7, dude.
Tide Hunter is looking pretty scary. We haven't seen a Ravage come out just yet, so when that does happen, I'm only anticipating chaos. And look at that, MJW is cutting in on that 3rd tower.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yo, was that a courier bait with the shield?
I don't know if it was a bait necessarily, but its shield was definitely used.
I'm calling that a
MJW
bait.
has a hood on him now. The Blood Right connecting in. They're going to follow up on him. Illusory Orb, silence with the Waning Rift. Little Pump taking him out right there.
He has no mana, dude.
Yeah, well, now they got a coil, and he's got a magic wand, so he has enough to make things happen here. I just don't know if it'll be enough overall. Oh, he baits out the stun on the Centaur Conqueror. Actually ends up paying off for MJW. Where's that turret going to hit? I don't think it was cast. It was just debated. Now it's turning back in. Mario helping turn this in his favor. MJW taking the kill out on one. Fuzzy Sloth now throwing out an orb. MJW wants to be careful here. The Blood Right is not going to be what he's concerned, but much more so on that thirst. Oh my god, Cash is not able to stay alive. And they're just continuing in here.
Wow.
The zip from downtown from Annihilate, continuing in on here on Puck. One more hit, down to 75 HP. And that is the kicker.
Yo, in bottom lane, DK was trying to look for Oscar. Gonna take a little pump instead. Hits him with the Omni, trying to spin the win. Finds him in the tree line, but the tower shot and the right click taking him down. What I was gonna say about that whole fight in top is I didn't think MJW was gonna live, but with 3 points in Kraken Shell, a little bit of regen, he was able to last long enough for Mario to come in. Didn't think Mario was gonna do a whole lot, but that's where they got the first kill. And then I Annihilate, with so much space, decided he wanted to go in there and rack up some kills as well. That was that's one of my first candidates for play of the game.
You know, DK was just so overextended.
Yeah.
It was just a sad day. Space created. Let's go with it.
It was only so sad, one, because he did have all the space, and two, he did find an Omni. He just didn't get the bounces he needed. If they all went on low pump, he would have been able to take that and presumably walk away. But coulda, woulda, shoulda is something we could talk about all day long. Mario in the middle lane decides that Trank Boots are the items he needs to turn around on Fuzzy Sloth and Little Pump, forcing him to fall back as he gets to scoot under his tower back to safety.
Thinking in on this more, we've got our Puck who is going to be getting, I'd say, what? Veil, Blink, at one of those two options as his first thing here, and Puck is still leading the charge here for Mind's Eye, but being down a pretty good amount compared to what he's going up against.
All All right, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know Puck, but doesn't it kind of have to be Veil? Don't they really need damage at this point? Like, you just saw what happened with MJW. He has a hood, but check what's happening to him again.
Rupture on Tidehunter. Tidehunter now needing to use that Ravage, hitting in on 4. He gets skewered back, but he uses the hood, mitigates a lot of that damage. RP connecting in. There's the Shockwave. MJW trying to TP out the Bloodright. It's going to connect. He does TP home. Silence on Earth Spirit now. He's going to TP out, and Uzumaki, the magnetized damage, overwhelming, scoring up a double kill off that one.
Like, case in point, sure, it's magical damage that's going into a Tide, but if there is a Veil there, that could have been enough to take him down. But they have a real serious problem right now on Mind's Eye, because they just lost in, I think it was a 3v4 or something to that effect. The entire time, our Jug was just down here wailing away at the tower. I don't remember if the storm came in, because I was just looking at this Tide chilling in the middle of 4 and still was able to walk away with his scales. Like, what do you do about that? Where does the damage come from? And you have, like, if you look over on Mind's Eye, we're questioning if Fuzzy Sloth is going to get a Veil. Magnus, he's not going to see any damage anytime soon. And Macera's building a Midas.
I know what that item does.
Does it kill people?
I don't think so, because Cash is dying right now. DK spinning in on this. Mario now about to fall. One more strike's what they're going to need. Little Pump taking an Omni across the head. Masara is going to need to retreat.
Oh,
not going to happen, though. We got this guy jumping crazy. Mr. Storm Spirit, man. Annihilate. Doing what his name says best.
Like, yeah, this is looking very grim already. They can't get anybody. Like, at most, they get a support here and there. But when you're losing 2 4s in the trade for that, like, there's not a lot of analysis that needs to be said. It's just rough.
I can get into that.
Got MJW. He's looking for Guardian Greaves. I can't tell exactly where he is on. He just needs the mech. Okay, well, the mech recipe. That's going to be the next part. He's getting the mech. What other big items? We haven't talked about the Yasha, which is pretty close to a Manta. Storm is working his way to his Bloodstone. Just needs the 3 boosters. So yeah, we can talk about items all we want, but it is looking like another highlight reel for CES so far. Have them up here S3 pushing this top tier 2 tower with MJW standing out in front, daring anybody contest them, but you can't find anybody on Mind's Eye on that side of the map. Trying to find Annihilate, who just zips away, TP's out, and gets some more space. Well, I say more space, but again, they don't want to fight right now. They're just trying to get as much gold as they can before their towers fall. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I said the same things in game 1.
Yep. Maybe not verbatim, but the concepts are absolutely still sound.
Oscar being forced to skewer away and scuttle up the steps as they will presumably look at the last outer tower fall if CES wants to push the issue. And wouldn't be too surprised if they did it so they could turn around and get that good old Roshan. Well, Torrent coming out, but who's worried about it?
I would go with a no one. Am I right?
I'd agree with you. They found Cash lurking on the side.
Absolutely nonsensical. Look at this 10K lead sitting in on that CES, and this graph has just been showing a pretty dominating presence. That's just gradual slope going up and up and up. And I'm concerned how Mind's Eye is going to make a turn in on this, because this is very difficult for the Dire to fight into. They've got an, I don't want to say awkward finesse about their team draft, composition, and execution, but let's be real. They need either Puck to get an initiate, Magnus to get an initiate, or Kunkka to be able to get a good X-Mark the spot that they're able to follow up off of.
Well, here's the problem, though. Even if they get this initiation, they have to be able to get, like, the Jug and the Storm in there, really, and the Earth Spirit. And it's so hard because you just have this watermelon. Like, look at him, JW, right now. I'm surprised he's not swimming on him. They can't do anything to him. I hear Storm in the back catching Cash one more time. Cash is just a scout. He's just seeing.
He's just a walking ward.
Pretty much. And he did get the vision down in front of the Roche pit, but again, even if they were to go to Roche, like, can Mind's Eye even do anything about it?
Nope. They got RP. They could steal it. They got Coil. They could be annoying on it, but overall, I don't think so. They are going for a Midas Bloodseeker, okay? And with Midas just being picked up around, what, 15, a little bit before that maybe? Probably like 14 and change, knowing the cooldown's just coming off for the second proc of it. That's going to take some time for him to come up successfully, you know?
I Annihilate, found Fuzzy. Didn't time the pull, so Fuzzy gets to jaunt to his orb, blink away. But, yeah, it's just the show of what's been happening. It's kind of rinse, rot, and repeat at this point. DK finding Masera somewhere right in front of the base with the creep wave coming in. One of the worst places. Ravage coming out on Lil Pump as well, spinning from DK. And I see a ghost ship, but what is the ship really going to do except for mitigate a little bit of the damage that's still going to be done? Cass stealing a spin, but I think he's going to have to spin himself back to his fountain as he gets gushed down by MJW.
You're not going to want to be spinning with you having so low armor. And oh, he gets the RP in, wants to get the skewer, but not having the proper positioning in time. And Dream Coil connects also. DK spins out of it. Uzumaki rolling Boulder out. And the Radiant are just taking this slow siege. They're being very systematic about this.
It's not a siege at this point. It's not a siege at this point. Like, until Annihilate went up and hit the tower, they haven't even touched that. They were just kicking the crap out of anybody who wanted to walk out of the house. Like, again, they hit a big 3-man RP Dream Coil in front of their tier 3 towers and didn't get a single head. Like, where is the damage?
Structures are fortified.
Yup. Yup, that's about it. I mean, they don't have any damage on Mind's Eye right now. Is a lot of a problem.
Masera, no, it's not worth it, dude. It's not worth it.
Seems good, man. Masara taking that blast right across the face. Annihilate slapping him with a bit of the Static Remnant, the mix of the Overlord charge, and
the saddest thing about that was he walked out there, the blood righted, and his Midas was off cooldown. So he's just gonna have to sit in there and look at that gold hand and hope that nothing really comes from his decision. Cash stepping out to steal Splinter Blast. So that's actually pretty helpful to buy them a little more time.
For Rubik, yeah.
Yeah.
He could Fade Bolt, throw out a Splinter Blast, and boom, that wave's gone. Thank you for verifying that with me, DK. I appreciate the affirmative.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he's concerned about that, though, because the longer that Mind's Eye wants to solve, sure, they get some more money, but they don't get to farm a majority of the map. So that's DK building into his Diffusal Blade, coupled with his mana that he already has. That is the Bloodstone that we haven't talked about on the Storm Spirit. That is tied with the Guardian Greaves that he's had for a while, but just making sure you know. Fuzzy Sloth getting found by Naruto.
Hear a boat. It's only for clearing the creeps, though. This is the situation Mind's Eye is in.
Hey, calm down. Calm down. Like, just because the fleet is a muck doesn't mean that they're plundering anybody. But yeah, that's again, that's just a sign of the game, dude. You kind of have to sugarcoat it to give them hope, but it's not looking good for Mind's Eye. Their eyes could be shut very quickly by CES.
Kind of comes with part of the process, right?
Yeah. But I wonder what items they're waiting for, because, I mean, Roche is up. They're not worried about it. They're keeping the lanes shoved out, and they're constantly taking the lanes, taking the jungles around the base. So there's got to be something on their mind before they go in.
What do you think that could be?
I don't know. That's why I made that whole rant, because if I knew, I would have said that too.
Yeah, because they just smoked up for a little bit, and they're running around with it seeming like they had something they wanted to accomplish, but then ultimately not really doing anything.
Oh, you mean Mind's Eye? They were just hoping to catch somebody out by themselves in front of the tier 3 tower, something that hasn't happened. But Fuzzy, I hope he doesn't tap this tower, especially with I Annihilate lurking in the shadows.
This is rough.
He's in.
Oh, he's trying to zip in on this. Looking good. Dream Coil, not going to be enough for you, Mr. Sir. He's going to go down. Fuzzy Sloth. Looking more sloth than Fuzzy.
Must be listening in. Somebody else agreeing with you, but there's kind of a double negative of what happened. Not only did he died without buyback. He threw the Dream Coil. So if CES can get down there real quick, that's going to be a huge advantage if they want to go. And they might have that idea as you see MJW and Naruto wrapping around behind Masera.
Here comes
Double ult being thrown out.
Connecting in. Kunkka very low. He's down and out. Cash thrown out. Sorry, misclick. What?
Misclick the
GG. On the GG. Okay. Getting the call to play on, so all is well. Jumping forward here. We do have the Kaya on Storm Spirit. Quicksilver's loving else. And now they're just finishing it all in.
Flare blast, no need to get. Yeah, okay.
Hey, didn't we say that? No, I'm just kidding. Rubik does not have Splinter Blast anymore. He has Ball Lightning, so he is a liar.
Dude, let's talk about a truth, though. There is more than a 1K net worth per minute lead. 24K net worth lead, 22 minutes, or just shy of 22 minutes. Is I Annihilate blinks in, gets Dream Called, but again, this is a situation I don't think he's worried about.
Oh, the Ravage Rupture Connect! Okay, not Ravage, just the Rupture Connect!
But
they're back at the well! The Blood Rite done defensively, throwing out 2 observers for good grace and some sentries now. Alright, I think this is the give-up time.
Yeah, they need to reenact that GG. Look at what just happened, dude. They got the womboest of combos, alright, under their tier 4 towers, drug them across the ancients, and they're still getting tore out the frame, dude. MJW gets pulled into the well, and he's just strolling away. Well, as soon as the cold embrace is off, literally just gonna walk it off. Naruto being to come back and kicking it back in, and he still almost made it out.
This is just so silly, and they want to know, can he die? The answer's probably not.
This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. It's over, dude.
Hey, I mean, they don't call him Juggernaut for no reason. I don't have like a metaphor or anything. That's it.
We don't need any more jokes. This was nothing but serious business as CES had came to play, and they had mopped the floor with the faces of Mind's Eye.
Oh, we're throwing out a lift here on Annihilate. Jump. Here comes the boat. Boop. Connecting in on Mario. Oh, they're going to get a nice kill on Puck. This will be great. I would love it. There it is. Puck is down and out. DK getting that double. The triple. Annihilate. They want Cash. They're not going to let him die. Except Cash is just like, yo, I got your ultimate too. Bouncing around, and they get DK. Cash actually getting the kill on that. Yeah, these guys are just memeing on each other at this point.
Yeah.
It's funny watching the Ball Lightning, like, fighting back and forth.
That was actually a nice Ball Lightning dodge of the Ravage.
And that's our GG. Well played. CES taking this in a very decisive 2-0 victory. Absolutely impressive from them here. They're going to be moving forwards, and that puts Mind's Eye, if I'm not mistaken, out of this. Yeah?
They are
Correct,
gone.
Mundo.
They have to say goodbye to Blood on the Streets 2017 Americas. I cannot believe how unkillable that Tidehunter was. He did whatever he wanted. He walked around. They couldn't kill him until his Earth Spirit pushed him into the enemy fountain. The only thing that could take him down.
I can't believe it in the sense of oh man, he was that tanky, whoa, Tide, OS Frog and everything, imbalanced, Ice Frog, please fix. But I could believe it in the sense of what happened in that game. It was literally the same problem that Mind's Eye had in game one. CES just crushed the lanes. They made the space that they needed. Instead of just like decisively winning to one lane and tearing up the tower, they took out two relatively close to each other. And they had a Tide who was against a tri-lane, but he was allowed to get his level 2, so he could just stand and deliver against anybody who wanted to come his way. It was to the point of where I still have to say the play of the game, which is like the defining point, was in the around the bounty rune. Like I think it was 9 minutes in, where they came in as 4 on MJW, and I was like, he's at some point in time he's gonna go down. And one by one, his squad assembled to form the Voltron of CES and pull out every member of Mind's Eye that wanted to try to take down the Titan. MJW still walked away.
You know, I think that Bloodseeker actually blood raged Tidehunter, and that just he used his anchor smash. It practically took off like half of Kunkka's remaining HP, and then he just fell. You can't lose fights like that. And they did. So CES, they got an early advantage. They pushed it. The Tidehunter, I think, really was the MVP of that game. Everyone else was fantastic, but he was in the top 3 of the net worth as an offlaner. It was impressive.
We're amazed by MJW on the Tide. I think it's another team effort thing, because MJW by himself didn't win all 3 lanes.
Right.
He took the lead that he had. He took the space that he was given, and he made the most of it. But it was, again, the supports being able to move around and actually make the space in all 3 lanes that allowed him to be the powerhouse that he was. Now, with that, he made some pretty sick plays of standing around and pressing R. But I think it's honestly more of a 5-man effort, really, for that one.
All right, I'm going to bring you guys up on camera. Any discussion on, I think, Doggy, you just said that play of the game was the early fight near the bounty rune where they committed 4 on the Tidehunter. He got back up. They lost too many heroes. Any thoughts for you, Sky? You agree, disagree?
Yeah, I'm thinking so, to be honest. Like, there was just so much that went in their favor. Just like CES was just outplaying them from the get-go. Tidehunter was able to have a lot of that on his shoulders. Yeah, I'm gonna give Doggy Sandwich a +1 on that.
Yes.
It's all yours. Play the game. So that will conclude our lower bracket match for the night. We will say goodbye to Mind's Eye. Oh, hold on. I think we actually just got a little clip we can play for you guys. So CES will be moving on to the next lower bracket match. I think they'll be playing whoever loses this next match.
That's right.
Yeah, between
Gorilla's
Pride. Yeah.
Pride.
All right.
I'm really excited to watch this match.
Yeah.
Leviathan absolutely stomped Mind's Eye.
Yeah, it was
Some of the fastest games we have ever seen, with strategy that we haven't seen come out from any other team at all.
Yeah, Leviathan showed us the actual chess of moving around the map, taking objective after objective, and pulling Mind's Eye all across the board, as compared to the checkers that we've seen of everybody else, of just using their grit and jumping over hero after hero as they march down the lane. So yeah, I'm excited to see more of Leviathan.
For sure. It's definitely going to be an exciting match. Let's watch this clip from last game.
You listening in, somebody else agreeing with you, but there's kind of a double negative of what happened. Not only did he died without buyback. He threw the Dream Coil. So if CES can get down there real quick, that's going to be a huge advantage if they want to go. And they might have that idea, as you see MJW and Naruto wrapping around behind Macero.
Here comes
Double ult being thrown out.
Connecting in, Kunkka very low. He's Down and out. Cash thrown out. Sorry, miss. Quick. What? What?
Miss
oh,
Click
oh,
the
GG.
GG.
On the GG. Okay.
Yeah, that was definitely a really nice play. Oops.
Dude, with Arcane Rune and Kaya, you actually use
Agree.
like no mana when you're zipping.
Wasn't the one I was thinking about, but still, that was like the nail in the coffin at that point. Walking up behind Masera, hitting him with Magnetize and the Ravage.
Saying, like, dude, this is ridiculous.
Nothing for him to do at that point. What was he gonna do? Minus one of them?
Saying, please nerf my miracle.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was so sad. The Bloodseeker just kept getting caught out. He couldn't find anything anywhere in the map. 5,000 net worth. Poor guy. Tough break for Mind's Eye. We'll see CES going forward. We will take a quick break now. I think the next game... Are we starting at 10? We'll get a countdown going either way right after this pause.
It's in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Next game coming up real soon. Stay tuned with us, and thank you.
Calling all Amazon shoppers and lovers of Bitcoin. Want to enjoy huge discounts while shopping with Bitcoin and save on millions of products? Purse.io is now better than ever before. With Name Your Discount, users stand to save an average of 15% on all their purchases. Buy now. Instantly search for Amazon items on Purse.io and save 5% just by using Bitcoin to check out. Purse.io. Finally, a reason to use Bitcoin.
You're the superstar and you don't need a golden crown, 'cause everybody needs a hero now. And when the weight is like £1,000,000, I'll stand behind you, 'cause you're a superstar, superstar, 'cause you're a superstar, superstar, you're a superstar.
International, but I doubt he remembers me.
Hello, hello. We are back.
Hey.
How's
What's
it
up?
going?
It's going well. How about yourself?
Doing well, thank you. We have Gorilla's Pride versus Leviathan about to come at you in an upper bracket round 2? Round 2, yeah. Upper bracket round 2 match. This is going to be an exciting game, I think. Both teams, really strong players on each. Excited to see what they end up drafting.
Yeah, they've had some of the more out there picks, some of the one-offs that we've had. Gorilla's Pride having Elder Titans and Dazzles to make up their support squad, whereas on the other end of the spectrum, we've seen Leviathan with, I believe, the only Nature's Prophet that's made it through the pool, Treant Protector, Pudge, and we can't forget about T-Pain himself, the Terror Blade.
T-Pain. I like that a lot.
I'm about you a drink.
Now, was that Elder Titan ultimately successful?
No, they got crushed that game. That was the Elder Titan Dazzle game, actually. And we kind of looked at them like, or I did, like, those are some interesting supports to pick together. And that was the second game against CES where they got kind of stomped. But they still managed to pull that series out 2-1 against CES, which is why they're here in the second round. And we just saw CES move in the bracket of alternative success, aka the lower bracket.
The bracket of alternative success.
I mean, they still haven't lost yet. I mean, it's the lower bracket, that is a fact, but they're not losers. Okay? Just because they lost one doesn't mean they're done. Double elimination.
This is true. It's a nice way to put lower bracket. Bracket of alternative success.
I agree. Anything that you think we're going to expect here out of our teams? Because I'm hoping for some banhammers. Give me some meteor hammers.
It's such a fun item. I really hope that they end up utilizing it again.
I won't be too surprised, honestly. Because, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, we really haven't seen the power or lack of, depending on what side of the fence you're on about it. So clearly Leviathan thinks it's really good after their first win over Mind's Eye the other day, whereas a lot of people looked at the item from the initial Dueling Fates patch notes and they were like, why in the world would anybody in their right mind pick this item up? So I think it might be something that Leviathan could go back to and try to sneak a game out from Gorilla's Pride. It's possible. Really possible.
The thing that I like about it so much is it's not expensive. In terms of how easy it is to build it up, the max you have to get is 1,000 for each part, and then the Sage's Mask and the Ring of Regen, they're cheap to get, so it combines nice and easy, and then just gives you really good pushing power. So I'm hoping we see more Meteor Hammers, whether it's between G Pride or Leviathan. It's a fun item.
Word.
I just think it is such a fun, interesting item, and we're not really seeing the full depths of the capabilities behind it just yet, which makes it even more fascinating because we don't know what heroes it's going to end up being optimal to have it on. We don't know the situations where you're actually going to be able to get the type of outcome that you're looking for. So it's got a long channeling time that needs to be taken into consideration, and it worked really well on a Nature's Prophet and the Treant Protector later on.
Yeah,
The other
Prophet the star with it.
The other thing we have to consider about Leviathan, though, is like keep building up, banhammer this, banhammer that, because the first game was such just an outlier for all of the matches that we had so far in Blood of the Streets. But we can't forget about the second game where they showcased a different dynamic that nobody else has really given us with their Centaur along with the Pudge and Bane. So it's not like they're one-trick ponies hiding behind the cheese and literally trying to rat people out. They are willing to fight toe-to-toe, is even using heroes that, again, we haven't seen out of anybody else. So they have a lot of tricks in their bag that we'll have to look out for.
Yeah, as I mess around with my lighting.
I'm trying to find this lobby.
I'm up in that. We're just waiting on a couple more. Oh, wait, no, I just got kicked from it. They started a new one?
Yes.
How dare they?
There it is.
We good. We good.
Gee, I think one of the big keys for Leviathan is to replicate what they had in their first series and just completely stomp the lane so that they're allowed to dictate the pace whenever they want, however they want. I mean, that's a really fundamental and safe thing for me to say, but with the way they played both of their games, they just dominate whenever they come out of the lanes on top. And we've seen that they can come out with like one of the hugest leads just off of CS alone. Because again, they had, I want to say, the least amount of kills in their game, or at least the first one. I keep having it stick out in my mind that like 10 minutes into the game, there was no more than 5 kills on the board total. So they were showing that they do not need to actually put blood in the streets to make it all the way to the end of the road.
Rivers of blood. That's what we want in the streets. And that's typically what we've been finding from all of our scene here, and Leviathan bring their own special flair to the games, and it's been split push and a lot of that sort of manipulation of forcing the enemy team to move around where you are, then actually not being there at all.
Do I really see you in here trying to get some brownie points with BSJ? Yeah, I'm calling you out, man.
Whatever, dude. Shit. Remember, you remember me, remember me. I don't give a hell.
Oh, Sky.
Hey, take what you can, man. If you're going to dress up like a monkey, you're going to dress up like a monkey.
I'm not. And there's very obvious reasons why I'm not. Yeah, I went there. Come on, bruh.
I don't know if the reasons are that obvious.
I think they are. Hello?
I might have to spell it out.
Oh, man. Come on, bruh. Yeah, we're just going through the last little bits of getting everything set up. I think we did our flip for selection priority and everything. We're just trying to make sure that everybody's revved up, and ready to go.
Yep, and we're just getting started now. We are going into the draft phase. Good luck, have fun, both teams. What are we hoping to see, guys?
Sky's the limit with both of these teams. Again, they've shown us some of the one and dones that we've seen in this tournament. So really anything is possible in my mind. I imagine that Leviathan has, like, I don't want to call it a pocket strategy, but another like set of heroes that they actually want to pull out for some specific dynamic, more fleshed out from the typical pucks and spirit breakers and winter wyverns that we've seen throughout the entire streets.
Good amount of time being used for our first bands as they get into the mix here. And you were gonna say something on Gorilla's Pride, Doug?
I was gonna say, like, they've shown the similar idea, but they just weren't as successful with some of their outlandish picks. Like, again, they had the game with Elder Titan Dazzle support duo, which sounds like he could work on paper with the minus armor coming out from the weave and one half of the ancestral spirit, but they weren't able to put it together or pull it together. They were able to get the wins with some of the more traditional stuff, like your Brews, your Vipers. They had a PA. They also had a Quap, Bat Rider, and like one of the different, I can't say really different, but not common, is they had a Troll for a core in their third game against CES. So they can step out of the boundaries as well, but it seems like from what we've seen so far, they can't go as far outside of the box as Leviathan can.
I think Leviathan has a lot of different heroes in their pool that they could bring out. Makes it very difficult to ban against them. More meta bans than anything else for finding.
Man, they've been in a pub, and you know they've got everything under. You're just waiting for whatever crazy gimmick they have.
Nice Brewmaster ban. Not going to allow that to roll through.
What do we want to have? What do we want to have? You think we're going to see a Terrorblade here? I mean, we've only seen from BSJ Terrorblade and Juggernaut as his own personal heroes. I mean, that would make sense. They've only had 2 games, but
yeah,
I'm just trying to think more into the pool of the types of things that we could be seeing here as I'm feverishly going through DOTA buff on everybody as well.
Well, the one thing that crossed my mind based off of those 2 games is I was pretty sure they were going to have a Marana, but I don't think they have Flyby playing their 2 position again. I can't tell if it would be B-Pipes or Garter, so I can't really rely on that, but I think she's probably going to be left in the pool, so it's something that could be considered in the first phase, assuming she doesn't get annihilated in the second bans, because they work very well around Marana both against Mind's Eye. Beastmaster getting taken out though, and the immediate Night Stalker.
Very powerful roaming hero. Nightmare to play against the vision reduction he provides.
And he just does so much for the first night. When the 4 minutes hit, you gotta wonder where you are and see how close you are to your tower. Because if you're not right under it, you know he's coming. Viper, yo, they got the primary colors coming out.
Only winged heroes so far.
Oh my god.
We have 6
I'm sorry.
wings.
I'm losing it over the primary colors comment because they've got red, blue, and green between the 2 characters there on Gorilla Pride. Oh god.
Viper's got a little yellow. Cut him a break.
Do you call him a yellow hero or a green hero?
I say green.
Hero.
Okay.
Exactly. that's all we're getting at. Yeah, he's a green hero.
But Viper being a solid laner to just really make whoever's on the other side of the river life. Jakiro. we've seen him for the most part, excuse me, being a solid 5 position. There was one game where we had him as the 2, but that was specifically against the TA. Other than that, he's just been able to really hold down the lane, get early tier 1 towers like we saw in the last series. But I really like this Rubik pick as compared to the last one that we saw. Again, you see a Jakiro where you're going to have one of the best steals that Rubik can have from basic skills and an ice path. Really anything that he takes from Jakiro is pretty good. But on top of that, not only is he looking to take the Viper Strike, which used to be guaranteed anytime you saw a Viper, but now he also can take Nether Toxin. And if there's a setup for Nether Toxin or really just telekinesis by itself, like that could be devastating to Viper in its own right.
Yeah, the Rubik's really nice. The Aura will provide plenty of damage reduction against those first 2 picks. They're showing the hand of their mid a little early, but Viper's one of those weird heroes because it's like, who would you?
Where he's Cancer, and you don't really have a solid way to counterpick him.
It's hard, yeah, just that he's hard. He's hard to play against, mainly.
So not as blunt as what I said, but got it.
I mean, the way you play against Viper is you accept the fact that unless you commit a lot to him, that lane is just washed. It's a L, and you go later than him because, sure, Viper wins his lane to begin with, but at some point in time, that player's like, damn, I'm playing Viper. I don't really do anything anymore.
Win game or lose. Bleh.
Win lane, lose game?
Win lane, lose game. That's
Gotcha,
that's
fam.
what people say about Viper.
I wonder, what are they going to do here? We're seeing a little bit of, I mean, not to say that Twitch chat's always means, but we do have some memeage on the fact that there's going to be a BSJ Tiny happening here. Everyone is demanding a BSJ Tiny.
I think that I think Complexity just had some great success with Tiny in a recent series.
Really?
Yeah, I believe. I mean, I didn't see the game. I only saw them posting memes on Twitter, like this is the ideal male body, and it was a Tiny. So I'm assuming that they were able to qualify for something using Tiny. So maybe BSJ is keyed into that and seen his strength.
There's no telling. I mean, looking down at Gorilla Pride, while they have about 50 seconds left in reserve, they have, again, a solid lane in the Viper. Also going to, at some point in time, be a decent tower pusher. Won't have the most range, but he'll be pretty tanky in the target you don't really want to initiate on. And he'll have a good buddy to come poke in every now and then, put some liquid fire on the towers, make it a little easier for him to push down. So they just need some other stuff to go around with it. What kind of other stuff? Like a solid stun would be nice. Early damage would be kind of good. Some mobility would be okay, especially since the only lockdown that they're looking at this point is telekinesis. There is a silence as well, but if they're able to position themselves around these two largely, well, fairly immobile heroes, I can't say largely because Night Stalker can cut corners, that'll be pretty good. But forget what I'm saying. I think they just want to go in the front door when they're picking an Undying.
I love it.
I love Undying. To me, means we're gonna do something aggressive in your face, and we're gonna fight the entire game.
Right.
And we're probably gonna take it to your throat from minute one. So I could see them backing this up with like a Juggernaut, something in that sort of direction.
Jug would be a great pick for Gorilla's Pride, I think, just based on what you have there. I mean, the only real threat is the silence on Night Stalker until you get your Manta.
The 2 times that we've seen Undying so far, one time he's been coupled with a Jug, which was yesterday in the Great Brawl of 5 melee heroes, and the other time was actually with a Schlark.
Wow. So they are all in on the magic damage lineup right now.
Sand King,
I like the
Undying
pick.
Hero. Ooh, baby.
So this could be a dual off lane Sand King Undying combo.
I mean, really, depending on the last pick on Gorillas, it could be an aggro try if they really wanted. All they would need is some other core who could fend for themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
But the big problem they have right now is they're still looking at the last 2 picks of Leviathan, although G Pride will have the ultimatum of the last pick. So they still have a little bit of save where they want to go into this. Leviathan, presumably still looking at 2 cores. I'm not going to pretend like I know the whole idea of drafting, but BKB carrier sounds pretty good right now, IMO. Or just a Centaur. Centaur being one of their cores from the second game who wound up, I believe, highest net worth on the off lane. So something that they have a pretty good command over.
So they have so far drafted Global Invisibility and Global Haste, which I think is pretty good. 2 really strong team fight ultimates.
You know, Spectre would do really well with Centaur ult also if they want to just throw another global in on this.
Who?
Global
You
Illusion.
heard,
I
you
heard you.
me?
I don't really believe you, but I heard you.
The Stampede on the Global Illusions works for damage applications, so what you want?
5 seconds remaining.
A real hero?
All right, so then we're looking at Juggernaut.
Radiant team pick.
It's liable.
If Twitch chat knows what's good for them,
Then it's Tiny.
It's going to be a Tiny.
That's what Twitch chat says. I mean, Tiny Centaur is a disgusting and also stupid combination that works far better than it should. But then that wouldn't put Tiny as being a carry so much as it being like Tiny Centaur offlane shenanigans with Mirana as a
Tiny.
carry.
No,
Tiny would be the carry.
Yeah, it's like you could say it's not a good idea, but at this point, Tiny would have to do the heavy lifting.
I don't know if it's a good idea. Yeah, Weaver's a lot nicer. They have so much slow on that team in lockdown that a Tiny really wouldn't have had a good time. Whereas a Weaver, who can kind of like, if in Centaur ult Weaver weaves through someone, that's going to slow them. Weaver's just going to be able to have his way with them. And think about all the money they're going to have to invest into detection between Weaver and Mirana. And we have a Luna last pick by Gorilla's Pride. I really like both drafts a lot.
I like Leviathans more. I like Leviathans more with that last pick, Weaver, because like you said, with all the things to help boost up the Weaver as the game gets later and people get ults, what really catches him, like as long as he dodges DLC, the only thing he'd have to worry about at that point is one stray Lucent Beam and Widge being able to line up an Ice Path. I think BSJ is going to be able to run literal circles around the G Pride squad.
The other thing to think about is that every single spell Gorilla's Pride has to throw at them, they have the potential for Rubik to give it right back. So I too
That
think
is true.
Leviathan has a little bit of an edge versus Gorilla's Pride. It's going to come down to how they set up the lanes, making sure, I mean, Weaver, he can kind of hang out on his own. He has a lot of survivability versus like a Luna who's going to need a little bit more care in her lane. Even though it might just be against a Centaur and the Night Stalker roaming in once nighttime kicks up.
Yeah, isn't there kind of a problem that G Prod has created that the supports, which are going to be the Undying and the G, have to actually stay around the Luna? So you're going to have a Sand King trying to fend for himself? That doesn't really work, does it?
I think that they're going to want to offlane the Sand King with the Undying and run duels. That's my opinion. I don't know if they'll do it, but I think that's what they have to do.
I don't know. I think they still have plenty of possibility of them running it a little bit more aggressively. But we'll see what ends up happening here in game 1 of Leviathan versus G Pride.
Good luck, have fun, boys.
So as it pans out right now, it looks like G Pride is going to be going aggressive, or at least for the initial warding process. Want to move out as a unit, get some dire vision up in that Radiant jungle. And we're going to have DLC on our Sand King here. Nice Dia on the Luna. What is that? WIJ on the...
Widge. Yeah, that's Widge.
All right, so that's Widge on the Jakiro. Moger on Undying. And last but not least, we've got Chris Brown on the Viper.
Well, on the other side of the river, that would leave Nusham, I think, having a second performance on Night Stalker. I could be wrong on that. B-Pipes with the Rubik. Garter with the Marana. I'm missing one. Monkeys Forever down here in the bottom, hiding out with a Centaur. And what Twitch chat would probably call the star of the show, the Banana Slam Jamma BSJ with the Weaver.
So this is going to be easy for them to get the bounty rooms on BSJ in the top if they wanted to, along with their safer one right back. I'm finding it more and more common for teams to try and put the bounty on one hero because of where the spacing and positioning is, that they can get 2 up on one hero, which really nice for them to get that early boost.
Yeah, especially if you have a situation like we just had where they're split across the map and they're next to one. You can't really put it on the mid because they still have to TP. I keep talking about this, but Widge is actually really low, getting caught by B-Pipes and Nusham. One hit would be enough.
They got
and there it is, the Void, giving us our first blood.io.
And you see, with that push, they also countered out that vision.
And not only did they take the ward, they dropped the sentry to block the small camp. That's devastating for this top lane.
Looking to fight in on this even more. They got the decay. Telekinesis back. Dual breath will connect in onto BSJ. Fighting off on this, and aggressive tri-lane with a Weaver. That's a good one. I really like that.
Be aggressive.
And you know, the best part about it is they can just leave at any point in time and just leave BSJ up here, and he'll at least live.
Right.
In theory, at least, okay? But another lift out on the Luna. They get a lot of damage off with that Void. Now BSJ falling up in here. He has another Shuchi. Leaving in on that chase. Nusham getting him, but Moger getting the return kill on BSJ. They drop the sentry in the lane to be able to help secure that kill. 1-for-1 exchange.
That's just a 1-for-1 clearly going for Leviathan, though, because, sure, both the cores in the lane died, but BSJ killed Nice Dia. So he gets the gold, he gets the experience, and Nice Dia doesn't get the experience from the return kill. Like, this top lane is not looking good. The only saving grace is that Dia is actually able to get a decent amount of last hits, but he's under heavy fire up here.
This is just a dangerous situation to be in, and it's kind of funny seeing how it's panning out for DLC as the Sand King crossed the way, because he should do pretty well against Centaur. But back to the top lane, Moger getting hit with the telekinesis, drop back in. He's taking some heavy fire here. They throw out a Lucent Beam on Nusham. He's going to go down. Widge looking to continue up the pressure here on BSJ, throwing out a Dual Breath again. Nice Dia wants to try and continue up this pressure, and BSJ using his tangos very aggressively, but Mocha's up to 16 decay. He'll regenerate up slowly but surely.
I wonder if they know the sentry ward's here. Like, they probably have an idea, and I'm around trying to find exactly where it is, but that's just on my mind right now. Do they have the exact location of the detection?
I'll take your tribute.
Yeah, the positioning of those sentries is only going to be so specific because they can't commit to too much of that early on. It's expensive.
But I think with all that being thought about, they decided that they'll just adjourn up there for now, leave BSJ, and see if they can catch Chris Brown in the middle lane. Arrow coming out from Garter, lift from B-Pipes, and the Void, fade bolt down, and you see the 3 of Leviathan's heroes fleeing the scene of the murder in the middle lane as DLC comes in to see if he can scoop up a couple of last hits. I feel really bad that DLC came up here, though, because he was doing pretty well in the bottom lane. Like, he had a decent advantage over Monkeys Forever, but by leaving it, that gave Monkey Forever just a little bit of space to catch back up to him. DLC still top of the net worth chart. And the bounty rune steal is going to help secure that for the time being. He's probably going to get the second one if he doesn't get stomped out. A little bit of the curse, but 1-for-1 trade. More harass coming out of DLC, though. I say that. Takes a double edge to the face.
Yeah, they're still chasing him down here. Monkeys Forever, not going to be doing too well. That Arcane Rune on DLC doing a lot for him. Monkeys Forever turning it! 16 HP!
But that's still a trade going to
Top
Monkey
lane,
Forever.
though, we've got one down. Widge going in it. Wisham fighting in on the trees. Moger needs to be careful. 16 decay. He does have Tombstone. He could drop, but it won't be happening here. B-Pipes getting out that kill on Moger. And all these trees have just been destroyed, and in part, it's really because of these sentries. These sentries need to have clear vision out, and trees aren't good for that, you know?
I mean, really a lot of it goes to, if you want to be more specific, the Rubik, who's been just tossing people into the trees for one reason or another. But yeah, it does help out G-Pride in the sense to where if they see BSJ trying to hide behind what would have been trees, that's a play he can't run anymore. You know, we haven't really talked about middle lane, but there's not a whole lot to report other than Chris Brown has just a slight lead over Garter.
That's to be expected because Viper does a great job at just bullying people and right-click trades, and early on, that's what you're going to be finding in the mid lane, especially against the Mirana.
How about in the top lane, though? As Mager is trying to get away from the tri-lane again, steps around just to make sure nobody takes down a Luna. Decay coming out in the turnaround on the Night Stalker. With the Stampede, BSJ and B-Pipes are trying to run for their lives. B-Pipes looking to sacrifice himself. Maybe turn around on Mager. Gets the 1-for-1, but BSJ goes down. Excuse me, B-Pipes goes down. BSJ trying to see if he can go toe-to-toe, 2-1 against the Luna and the Jakiro. Tossing out as many Gemini attacks as he can. Goes in again.
Might be able to do it. This is really close.
He still has some mana.
Try and man fight in on it. It's very possible. He has another Shikuchi available here. 125 damage would be what that puts out, but we're past the 5-minute rune. 5-minute mark, and that Shrine is available. They're going to use it up. Go back in that lane. It's going to pretend like nothing even happened, and now it's back in on that top. Just
they found Widge.
Fighting. Oh, Widge is going to go down. Those beetles flying out. Just a testament of what had happened. BSJ going to be able to get that cleanup on him. You know, what I'd really like to see from the top lane here, with the Undying especially, is for them, honestly, to mix things up. The Undying does really well against the Centaur if they want to put a little bit more pressure down there, but that would be a lot for them to move Undying and Jakiro to try and do such a thing, especially since Moger now is dying. Hit with the telekinesis, picked up, drop back, closer to his team, but Nusham and the Rubik man taking some heavy fire.
Dude, do you see everything that's happened up here? And you actually want to toy with the idea of leaving the crazy.
I'm talking about toying with the idea of doing like a full rotation of throwing one guy up there and making the others go elsewhere.
I don't know, with as close as everything is, if they can really afford to spend everything right now.
Telekinesis left here on Luna. She's going to go down into it. Had Scarabs on her. The Swarm doing a good amount of damage and the negative armor persisting. BSJ turning on Moger. And now we have DLC rotating up here. This is the first epicenter of the game.
What a time lapse.
Perfectly used by BSJ. And we had the Centaur ultimate procced in that fight also. Garter's going to be able to get Moger. He's rotated up here too. Now leaping forward and get the Starstorm hitting. Not going to be able to kill on T. The raindrop helping him out there. And Widge actually getting the kill on BSJ.
Oh, man. This is looking pretty different from what we expect out of Leviathans. Actually having to fight time and time in the top lane. They're still coming out on top, but it's not as clean as the times we have seen before. G-Pride actually doing well to salvage what bit of the top lane, the top tri-lane that they have, leaving their Luna above the Weaver. But Garter, with the haste rune, can't really go in on Chris Brown because Chris Brown is literally just spitting the poison at him.
And you know, there's one thing that happened there. Chris Brown did one uphill strike as the Mirana was running around in that area, which gave away that there was a ward somewhere. Now, the possibility of them countering that out, relatively low, but they know that there is something up that is giving him vision of the high ground. And that's why we see the sentry getting dropped immediately to them pinging out that it's probably a little bit higher up.
Yeah, just off the mark. But like you said, the idea was in their mind.
Mm-hmm. So it's like noticing simple, subtle things like that, which end up meaning a lot more than just, oh, he hit me. Oh, I like this. He did the lift on one of the range creeps there to get the stun out on Moog. I don't know if they're going to be able to get the kill on here. BSJ continuing the pursuit in the Swarm, doing lots of damage here. Oh, he does the time lapse perfectly well. The Swarm, is he going to be able to get that last hit off? No, down to 10 HP. Jakiro will be able to leave successfully. And is this DLC rotating to top? Yeah, it is, and for good reason. Moger, the Undying, might go down here, dropping out a Tombstone. DLC looking to do an ultimate of his own. We get BSJ out of here. B-Pipes did fall. BSJ just wants to clear up this tomb now, and he'll get that kill. 175 gold. Very worthwhile.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are
Yeah,
fortified.
but with DLC going to the top lane again, that leaves Forever to continue having a farming party down here in the bottom lane. Going to be looking at Widge coming down. I don't know if Widge really wants to come down to this. Just hitting level 5, but still being a support nonetheless, trying to go against the highest net worth on the map. Don't think that's a contest he can really make without some friends. And as of yet, nobody's really coming down. The Courier getting pretty close just to bring some sentries and I believe a TP.
Monkeys Forever acting kind of clowny here in the tree lines, trying to bait something in there, but ultimately just cutting the wave. And, he actually has no points in return right now, where some people will put heavy priority in return early on. This game, we're not seeing it at all, and that's a tier 1 tower that's dropping. Thank you, Siege Creep.
Dire's bottom tower
Ice Path connecting in on Monkeys Forever, though. Chris Brown now rotating, too. Monkeys Forever does not have an ultimate. Could try to TP, but the break is there. He's going to go down. Top lane, though. Lift on Moger, throwing out a Tombstone yet again. BSJ now. Applying a little bit of pressure here. Wants to switch his focus onto the Tombstone. There will be a Soul Rip available if he wants to try and heal it up a little, but yeah, he will hit on it. Now DLC coming in with the stun on BSJ. BSJ, is he going to have a time lapse available? No, he won't. It is on cooldown. Forced to retreat. Moger getting more decay off, and DLC now, he has to be on the retreat, getting a nice jump back from his own Burrow Strike, but unfortunately not enough. Gardner will be able to take that kill, and we've got Nighttime, we've got Stampede. They found Moger in the tree line. He needs to be careful, under 400 HP on him, and they're also hunting Widge. So Gardner's able to get up 1. Going in on 2 now, throwing out a Macro Pyre to try and keep that creep aggro off the tower, and unsuccessful at that. G-Prod falling.
I wonder if that would have been able to change at all, or how much would have changed if DLC was able to Burrow Strike away earlier, because he got hit by the double Starstorm, like the full brunt and the second close range one, and that's all that cleaned him up. He might have been able to get out, get a decay, and turn things around, but your friend Captain Hindsight is somebody who thinks about a lot of things that could have happened, but not actually. One thing that might be going now, Chris Brown taking the tower in the middle lane and poking at BSJ, who does have a time lapse, doesn't have the mana for it, but has a lot of regen if he really needs to dip down to it. So nothing really happening there except for the middle tower getting erased off the map.
Now, thinking through on this a little bit more, we've got Leviathan with a pretty dominating lead here. They're going to be able to take this top tower relatively soon, I would imagine, with this type of pressure happening, but ultimately, it's G-Pride that's going to be rotating in on this bottom because they want to try and do something here to shut down Monkeys Forever.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's more of just trying to get the tower. I don't think they actually saw Monkeys Forever. I could be wrong, but they're in the vicinity to protect the Luna, who's been farming the entire time. She has her Mask of Madness, working her way to the Yasha. She's coming to join the rest of her friends down here to take another tier 1 push. Don't think there will be a contest because I see Leviathan just takes the tower. So if they really want to come down and defend theirs, they could. But I'm guessing the idea is to see how much they can get out of the tier 2 and see if they can force G-Pride back there on their own. Monkeys Forever is cutting their creep wave, or has cut the creep wave. I was a little late to see what was happening, but there's not going to be anything else. Which indeed, with the tier 1 going down, G-Pride falls back, and they're trying to see if they can defend their tier 2 tower. One thing we haven't pointed out is Nusham actually has a Helm of the Dominator. That's something I saw in one of the earlier games in another league, but something we haven't seen in Bits itself. Somebody going to what was a long forgotten item.
On roaming supports, I want to say it's not that uncommon for them to just scoot through the jungle, grab a creep, and have it be useful for a fight or two, then replace. And now we've got the ultimate coming out from the centaur. Monkeys Forever trying to get out of here. Moger, though, very low, using a soul rip on himself. Monkeys Forever with the Moonlight Shadow, able to be alive. Now BSJ joining the fight. Moger has fallen. B-Pipes needs to be careful here. And I think everyone from Leviathan is going to be okay getting out.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Yeah, just going back to get rid of a few rats. You see a couple of people coming up to see if they can catch Garter. It'll be kind of hard with his 3 leaps. I'm going to go ahead and TP out as Chris Brown is first on the scene. Nothing he can really do except for just watch Mirana TP back home to pick up her Dragon Lance.
Macro Pyre stolen by Rubik and used immediately. Look at all that.
That looked like an Ags Macro Pyre when I came back and two Tetris blocks. Double Tetris.
So Nushim used his Helmet Dominator and he took a siege creep and they were able to take that tower very quickly. Moger falling immediately after that.
Here's something a little more important. Was that the Blink reveal from Monkeys Forever?
I don't know if it's been revealed yet. He has it.
I mean, he just blinked in and stopped him, so they know it now. But I was trying to.
Oh well, then I didn't see that part. So yes is the answer.
Okay. And speaking of blinks, DLC has his own waiting for him in base. So
yeah, but BHA just got his defusal now. Oh, here we go. On in on the Luna. Murdered almost immediately, and now Nushim here coming on a Weege. They're trying to have good positioning. They don't want to get stunned out by Sand King. Tombstone drop. Telekinesis going out. Macro Pyre number 2 coming out from the Rubik, and now Rubik is sitting as a beautiful little flesh golem.
So DLC's coming back in with the epicenter.
He's just murdering everybody. Nushim's gonna go down. The break on Forever also. He's gonna fall too. DLC 50 HP. He's very low, but VSJ will be able to clean that one up. And now it's the question of whether or not BSJ wants to kind of come in on this and try to get Moger, and it's looking like a no.
Yeah, he doesn't have his time lapse up, but doesn't matter too much as he was able to clean up a couple kills, even it up for his team, and still scurry away with his life.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
All the while, Garter still ratting it up here in the top lane, isn't bothered with coming down, just wants to see how much he can make before somebody wants to come deal with him. Well on his way to his Maelstrom. Really can take it if he wants it. Has a whole Mjolnir queued up, but maybe he's thinking of something else. Speaking of Maelstroms, I don't know if we pointed out that Chris Brown has one of his own, so they kind of have this nice little mirror thing where they have the same items in their kit between the 2 mids.
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty funny seeing that happen there, but not too unexpected.
Yeah, it's not a surprise when you have 2 similar heroes in the same position, 2 agi mids.
From this Undying, we've got the Tombstone ready to go. Not too unrealistic to have them be thinking about pushing another tower here. Although with all of the tier 1s but the top being taken, it's going to be a little bit tricky. And now we've got the Moonlight Shadow here from Mirana, but a smoke from the Dire here. So that smoke will help reveal if there is a Moonlight Shadow, and it pops on Moger. They know where BSJ is. Ultimate coming out from Luna. BSJ doing a nice time slap, and now we've got the Stampede coming out. Ice Breath connecting in on him. Luna has already fallen. Nushim continuing in on here. BSJ now up killing Moger, diving underneath the tower, going on Witch. Backside though, Nushim falling. Chris Brown doing a great job there. The DLC Epicenter doing work, but ultimately not getting more than just Monkeys Forever, and that is a good trade at that.
Dire's bottom tower is under
BSJ looking for Widge, finds him on the backside, diffuses him up, takes a liquefier to the face, and a burrow from DLC. But I don't think they have enough to actually take him down, especially since he's going to have time lapse coming up in 13. Just scuttles over to the side, trying to see how much time he can actually buy. Looks like DLC will go for a much easier kill with the Rubik as Pipes with no mana, no HP, just tries to find cover in the trees. He's not going to find anything there.
He stole the burrow strike, though. It was promising that he could have maybe tried to escape from that.
With what mana, dude? He was dry.
Oh, that's why I said it was promising.
Word.
But not actually like a thing.
I get you. But the more important thing is that BSJ is able to find his way back to his side. Gonna hit a couple of creeps, wait for his friends to come back, more specifically his Rubik, and see if they can go on another misadventure sometime soon.
I'll take your tribute.
I say if they go on another misadventure, but starting to see like what I'd have to say is classic Leviathan, where they tend to play really spread out throughout the entire map. Gardner's back here in the top lane again, just trying to see if he can make anybody come up to the top lane, or if they don't want to comply, if they want to stay huddled as a 5-man on the bottom lane, he will force them up here by wrapping on the front door of this tier 3. And
honestly, that's looking like it's going to be what's happening here. BSJ being
with that time lapse, dude. It's the second big one he's gotten.
Yo, he is space creating right now, okay? They've got the stun coming in on Chris Brown on the top lane. TP'd right into that, getting dropped back in. Monkey jumping with an ult of his own. Not going to be able to get that here. What are we looking at? I don't know, but it looks like Monkey's Forever needs to TP out. There isn't going to be a stun to connect, but they get the kill. So they forced that rotation.
That's
what
true.
They wanted, right?
To some degree, yes, which gives BSJ some more space on the bottom lane, but it's not like they were able to take an objective from it, which is what they really wanted at the end of the day. All that did was give a big kill into the pockets of G Pride, allows them to get some more items under their belt. Somebody just got medallion. I missed who. I think it was actually on Leviathan. But the big thing is they're getting more money, and there's nothing being traded off for the side of Leviathan, which is what we have known them to do. So the TLDR is that G Pride is actually able to kind of stop the basic strategy that Leviathan is putting in front of. But they're not deterred, as if you look up in the top lane, look who's still rearing their head, Garter, trying to make sure those creeps don't get up that pair of steps with the help of this Wildkin, just slowly burning down the wave.
Okay, stun coming out here on BSJ. He is exploded.
Oh, all right.
I think that's a good way to put it. I mean, there's that venom pus just like laying around on the ground and a dead bug. Like, hey, what do you want to say happened there?
They got a can of raid for him.
Rubik Man sitting on a blink. Nice and pretty. Centaur going to be wanting to get an Aghanims after that. And pressure in the top lane, though. Garter jumping forward, killing out on Wiz. Moger forcing out an ultimate, but then silenced up by Nusham. Chris Pound moving forward. Ultimate from the Centaur. Garter might be okay here, but the negative Vern proc is going. Going! Not good.
Okay, I thought he wasn't okay.
Close.
I was like 20s.
So during that time frame, he switched from having 8 decay, losing 8 strength, to 4.
All right.
Nusham decided to get the Hill Troll Priest. So that is just like a fun little creep to steal. It gives a healing cast and then also a mana regeneration aura of 3 mana per second, which is really substantial, come to think of it, but no one typically gets that creep. But under the guise of night, they're coming in here on Chris Brown. Nusham, though, silencing him. Arrow will connect. DLC ready for action, coming forward on 1. Now Nusham.
Ice Path on 4.
With the Macro Pyre 2 as BSJ runs through the fire and flame, going out on Widge. Not going to use that diffuser just yet, but is a possibility. Oh, Monkey's Forever with the blink in on DLC. He gets the stun. They get the silence. Now with the lift on the Luna, they get the arrow connection off, dropping him back closer to the team, finishing him off there. Monkey's Forever now with the double kill, largely because of these plays by B-Pipes, followed up with some serious skill on that arrow by Garter.
Yeah, all of that started with a ward deep in the dire jungle to show that Chris Brown was by himself. And after that, it was G-Pride trying to run, but getting picked apart one by one. Just some amazing target selection coming out of Leviathan as Chris Brown buys back, but that just leaves a 3v5 for this base defense, and I don't think it's working out too well.
Oh, Viper's gonna go down, it looks like. Here comes the ultimate from the Stampede. The nonsense is palpable. PSJ wants to try and come in here on Widge.
He wants to, but yeah, he understands he doesn't need to go all the last kill. Just come back, take the tier 3, go ahead and try to see how much they can get out of the Raxes. Again, Chris Brown, who just came back, down for 60 seconds. The big stun interrupting the epicenter.
What a call.
It gets snatched.
Yoink. We're going to have an Epi Rubik, and that cast point with his own blink is going to be pretty delicious to see. Nushin will probably fall from here, but not for good reason, since BSJ was able to secure the dire mid-melee racks during that fight.
And I'm thinking the play now is, I honestly imagine that they'll split the shrines with more emphasis on the top shrine, but try to see if they can maybe pull them bottom or catch them with less numbers in the top, take them both out at the same time, and see if they can work their way slowly into the Roche pit. The only other thing that could cross their mind is maybe to take the tier 2 tower out that's sitting at half HP, so that the next time they go into the base, it could quite possibly be the last and the end of the game. Say that because they have a lot of tools to help them with that mission. Monkey Forever with the Ags. I don't know how long he's had that. Here's something really ironic. Check out Garter. I mean, I don't know if
Shadowblade?
Yeah, Shadowblade
Yeah.
Marana. Eventually building into a Silver Edge to use on the Viper, I assume, but that's just one of those things that's really ironic.
Dire are scanning.
BSJ having his BKB flown out to him as they easily take Roche. Literally no contest as G-Pride is trying to scrounge up what little bit of gold they can before they have to get back to their base. Also trying to see if they can maybe take this tier 2 tower out, but I don't really think that'll happen. I wish they would start going back now so they can get a good position around the tier 3 tower, but they don't have any real idea of where they're at. I guess they're getting an idea because there's a little bit of a shuffle around this ward. Like, both of the melee heroes around it, like, guys, we don't have Quelling Blaze, help. But yeah, just like, look at what's happening. Since none of G-Prod is here, they have to give up this tier 3 tower, and I think they're going to try for a race.
Well, if this is a race, then I think it's already lost. Because they already got the racks in the top lane. Now it's going to be looking to them to come down the bottom lane. Centaur using his ultimate now, and with that new Aghanims picked up, he's going to reduce a lot of damage coming out. And we've got lots of rotations coming in from the Radiant here. And the Dire's trying to retreat. Arrow from Garter will connect in on Undying. They're able to get one. And this is with them taking the top racks and the mid racks. Those are both gone. Goodbye. Deleted.
Yeah, that was really questionable because, yeah, at most, all they could have taken in a dream scenario is the bottom lane, where all they had left was the mid-range racks that was gone. But yeah, there was no way that they could have defended their top lane. So that's a 2-lane deposit. I don't think it was worth it. I don't think the idea was worth it. And then seeing the plan after it unfolded, clearly questionable. But G-Pride's not done. They're still hanging on with their tier 2 tower. The last lane left for them. Nice
Couple new things picked up that are going to be really impactful. BSJ has a Black King bar.
Bruh. Bruh. All right, he does. Let's talk about something that's actually new. The Luna getting hurt. Nah, shit. And Garter gets his, the thingy, the Silver Edge.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty helpful. The break is cool, but the damage reduction not really a thing anymore, unfortunately. 707, lol.
I don't think he needs it. Just witness the display.
Oh, I'm witnessing. I hope you are. Moger looking like he's going to die from here. Back in the Flesh Golem. Monkeys Forever. He is stunned out with the break too. DLC getting a nice epicenter off on him. With that buyback, though, Garter had an Aegis, so he'll be fine resurrecting in the fight. DLC getting shifted around, but ultimately that is the GG called from G-Pride. And that's going to be game 1 going to Leviathan. Dude, I didn't call it out earlier, but that net worth, that experience graph was ping-ponging so silly. If you were to peep a quick F7...
Mine's actually F6 for some reason. But yeah, it was going back
Fair
and forth
enough.
because the fights were going back and forth. But the big thing that was happening at the end of the day was Leviathan was still able to play their spread formation across the map and get a lot of lane farm on their 3 cores, while on the other end of the spectrum, G-Pride spent a lot of time huddled into a 4-man, a 5-man, only taking jungle creeps. And I don't think there was any stacks going out for the Luna as well. So that's where you started to see the huge disparity of net worth between the two.
And can we just say how commanding of a presence Garter had in this game? It was the Marana show.
He was
Not
pretty
to
much
say
unstoppable.
that like Rubik wasn't setting up so many of those arrows for success, but my word, just absolutely dominating experience coming out of Leviathan with a couple hiccups across the way, but I mean, I'm seeing a victory strewn across my screen.
Same. I think I heard Silva came in. What's up, man?
No, just agreeing. Like Garter didn't die a single time. Their lanes worked out very well for them overall. It seemed even in the early game, but they were just really. It didn't seem like they really stood a chance. Gorilla's Pride at a certain point, they just kind of crumbled against the force that is BSJ and Garter, the rest of their team.
I would say the lanes, if anything, actually to some degree favored Gorilla's Pride. Like, we spent a lot of time talking about the top lane because 6 heroes in a lane, that's where like 60% of the action is going to happen, right? And if you look at that lane alone, it was kind of a wash either way, with BSJ getting the best of Dia a couple times, getting the hits, the last hits and the kills on him. But Dia was still able to keep up the farm for the most part. Where the lanes really started to break down for Gorilla's Pride is when you started seeing the other cores having to rotate to the lanes, because DLC, being the first one to go up top, was doing very well against Monkeys Forever. Sure, there was the little exchange on the bounty rune where he went down first after getting double helix, but he still was able to keep a net worth lead over him. But there was the time where you had to go up top to make sure Dia stayed alive, and that gave room for Monkeys Forever to eventually push down the tier 1 tower. Similar thing happened in the middle lane as Chris Brown was doing pretty well against Garter, but at some point in time he felt the need to go protect the Luna, and with that gave Garter the room that he needed to eventually allow him to just camp in the top lane for the middle part of the game.
Something that we also should point on is how Nusham was just so on point with the timings of when he was dropping out these silences. He disrupted a lot of situations, and I guess we could say B-Pipes did also with the times where he was able to grab DLC mid-epi and then steal it himself.
Yeah.
How'd you guys feel about the pickup of the Helm of the Dominator on Nusham?
It was interesting. From a very amateur standpoint, I can't tell like if it had a big impact overall or really what impact it had, but I mean, they won, so I can't knock it.
I'm going to bring you guys up on camera. I believe that we have a replay to play. Praying it will work. I'm going to press the button right now.
Let's see production.
Go production. Monkas. I don't think it's working.
Feels bad, man.
Thoughts on what the play of the game was?
I didn't have one stand out in my mind because I was just so taken back by all the action that was happening. So I don't know. Pick a good team fight. So what you?
The
got,
only one
Sky?
that's burned into my mind is the Rubik lift, stealing the epicenter, disrupting that team fight, and making it so that Leviathan was able to take that smaller engagement, which ultimately ended up on them taking another engagement after that because they also had Epicenter too. And after he used Epa, I'm pretty sure he stole Undying ult and then used that too. So he was an Epicenter while being a tiny little Undying. It just looks so silly, like when you get those sorts of things slapping across each other.
Yeah, I can go with that. That's pretty sick.
So we're going to come at you with the next game of G Pride versus Leviathan. Leviathan is up 1. After a short break, we'll be right back with you. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Calling all Amazon shoppers and lovers of Bitcoin. Want to enjoy huge discounts while shopping with Bitcoin and save on millions of products? Purse.io is now better than ever before. With Name Your Discount, users stand to save an average of 15% on all their purchases. Buy now. Instantly search for Amazon items on Purse.io and save 5% just by using Bitcoin to check out. Purse.io. Finally, a reason to use Bitcoin.
seconds remaining.
You listen 5 or 6 series, so I'm
Hello,
not worried about it.
hello. We are
Hi.
back. We are hopping into the draft. Sky, Doggy, you with me?
Somewhat, yes.
Somewhat, partially. Good enough for
Mhm.
me.
Some of me got left in that last game, actually.
So let's hop into the draft right now. It looks like so far Leviathan has banned out Enchantress, and Gorilla's Pride gonna drop that respect ban on the Night Stalker.
Yep, New Sham apparently in Gorilla a whole lot. I question how much he did because Gorilla's Pride did well, I can't say they did, but let me back up. They ran try versus try. And Night Stalker is a hero that doesn't like to sit try versus try, especially when the first night hits. He likes to run around, which he did for the tail end of it. But he spent a lot of time with BSJ and B pipes actually trying to break down Nice Dia. So they accomplished one of the things you need to do to play against them. But throughout the game, I guess they decided that New Sham was still able to do too much with that Night Stalker and they want to take it off the table. On the other end of the spectrum, Leviathan, we've seen them for 4 games now, for 4 drafts at least, and they've banned Enchantress first phase in 3 of them. So, no surprise. Not to me, at least. Not with me in my notebook, with my terrible-looking notes.
You and your notebook, and me and my internets, which not as efficient as other days, but hey, we're making dreams happen overall, so that's all that really matters.
Word.
Winter Wyvern banned out. Ooh, no Ice Dog. No Ice Dog.
Ice Dog.
Like they understand. It's one of the things that's been talked about all the time. Like people just let this Winter Wyvern go, and they're like, maybe we can beat it. And I mean, in Blood in the Streets, you can beat the trash out that hero. But Leviathan doesn't even want to take the chance. Just go ahead, melt the ice, let her cool off on the bench, and make them go to another hero. Now, G Pride over here with a Broodmother ban. I don't know if they've banned that before. I'm kind of looking back, but
first they haven't been banned in this like series between these guys.
I'm just trying to look and see if they've ever banned it, which I don't see. But one thing that I was thinking about is I wouldn't be too surprised if Leviathan will pull it out. So you can't fault them for that. Just covering bases.
10 seconds on the next ban for G Pride, and no, you're right. You can't fault them. Who wants to go against the Spider Lady?
Axe.
It was a rhetorical question.
Zeus at some points in times, maybe with an axe in front of him.
Zeus is a fun hero. I wish we could see some Zeus gaming.
You're gonna have to look for some really specific world teams if you want that right now, because there's not a lot of likes running the Thunder God.
A first pick Rubik by Leviathan.
I give V-Pipes enough of a pass that they can go ahead and first pick it. Like Sky said, he had some really good positioning in the first game. He had some really strong steals and just good old combo breakers, taking a lot of plays away from DLC. So, I can respect this more than the first picks that we saw in the last series with first phase Rubik. But first phase is being talked about. The first combo coming out for G Pride is going back to the Sand King and the Silencer.
The Silencer is picked. IQs are being raised.
Wait, only for him though.
Only for him. Everyone else
Yeah,
is
only for
lowered. I really
And
like Silencer.
I guess like his teammates would look stupid by comparison, but ultimately it would be with the hope of Leviathan losing their smarts.
All right, so I'd just like to point this out. We have seen Leviathan for 4 games, and in all 4 of their games, they have had the Priestess of the Moon. It's Priestess and not Princess, right? They've had the bottom.
No, I think it's Princess of the Moon now.
Oh,
Blizzard copyright rip.
I can't keep up with that kind of stuff. I'm the kind of guy who still calls Literally Windrunner.
Yeah, I do too. Or Necrolite.
It is. It is Princess of the Moon. Oh my
All right.
god. Well, she'll forever be priestess in my heart.
And she will forever be in the heart of the Leviathan lineup as I'm going to. Well, I can't say she's going to go mid because I want to say she wound up in like safe lane 1 of the game. Fact of the matter is she's going to be an integral part of their strategy going here into this second game.
10 seconds.
She's a strong hero. Probably going to be mid on Garter again.
5 seconds.
Doesn't really matter what the mid for Gorilla's Pride is going to be. The value she brings is that she can sit in the lane and farm very hard with very little risk of dying.
You know, for a second, I actually thought you were going to say she's a strong independent laner that don't need supports, but that sounds like something I would say.
She don't need no support.
Nah, not with the way
my
Garter was
God.
playing last game.
10
What's up?
seconds remaining.
You guys are talking the type of stupid that I'm usually talking.
5 seconds.
We're trying to get down to your level.
Yeah, and then we're going to beat you with experience. What now?
Wait, so you're saying that you got the experience of it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what happens when I hang around with you. I sap your XP. Support gaming.
Easy.
Got him. Huskar getting taken off the table as well.
They do not like the Huskar. They banned that both times.
10 seconds remaining.
Have they?
Yeah, that was Leviathan's last ban last game.
Oh, I missed that off my notes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jot that down.
Done.
Radiant team pick.
They didn't ban it against Mind's Eye, so maybe they have a little intel. Don't.
Yo, how did he get this far? How did BM stay in the pool? Honestly,
Probably
what is his win
Well,
rate?
not good.
It's
I
not
think.
that good. No, not across bits.
But I wouldn't be too surprised at Leviathan letting this happen with the lane setups that they typically have. All that they really have to do is find some kind of laner, probably Centaur since he's still in the pool, to have a decent or a strong one-on-one matchup. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what's a good matchup against Beastmaster, but the fact of the matter is that if they can get the one-on-one that they want and leaves themselves in another situation where their supports are putting so much pressure that nobody can help them, that lane will probably handle itself at the end of the day. And even if it doesn't, if they win the other two lanes, as long as they can break even in the lane against Beastmaster where he doesn't just crush whoever he's against, I don't think it'll really matter.
Yo, Dazzle. That's a new one, right? Or did we have one pick of him so far?
We've actually had one pick from Gorilla Pride in their series against CES, and that's the one
they lost.
ill-fated match. Yep.
That was with Elder Titan?
Yes, it was.
Wait, but now Leviathan has him.
That's okay. They're not going to take an ET. They already got a Rubik, unless like a trick mid Rubik or something like that, which I pray does not happen.
Oh my
T-Pain!
god.
Oh, we got
back.
the ESJ Terrorblade and Dazzle. Those two together, love it. Makes it so easy and consistent to be able to get those very dangerous Sunders off. And,
All right.
I'm sure.
I got a hot
I don't
take.
want to be like, all right, we got some hype from Gigabuns on this one, but I'm thinking we're gonna get some Gigabuns hype on that.
I got a hot take right here.
Okay.
We need Axe on Gorilla's Pride.
Nah, doesn't matter.
Axe doesn't matter versus Dazzle,
No, it really doesn't.
but he can.
It
He can
directly
he can
counters
ult them.
Shallow Grave, but is that the problem when you deal with Dazzle? Or is it the armor and the healing?
I think it's
Because the
the,
time
I think it's
when
the
you
Shallow Grave.
the time when you use your heal in conjunction with the grave can make it so that the axe whiffs it just as easily as he would connect with the culling blade.
I want
So
core
while
Axe.
all I'm saying is while you can run axe to counteract the dazzle, it really doesn't matter.
I want it.
It still looks some kind of okay because that can help with illusions that Terrorblade has later on in the game. And I think there are points in times where Culling Blade is above the borrowed time threshold, if I'm not mistaken.
It depends on how far I mean, if he is borrow timed, and below the threshold. It has to be higher levels, of course, but
Yeah,
you can kill through it.
I think
they're not gonna pick it. I'll tell you right now, they won't pick it. It's just it would be fun for me.
All right.
Just
well,
you. No one
I mean,
else.
I'd have fun with it, but it's not about the fun that you and I are gonna have, Silva. But it's about the seriousness that the Gorillas need to get a second win and stay afloat in the upper bracket. So I don't think they're monkeying around.
I don't know the carry. Oh, monkeying around.
Got it.
Do they need Monkey King?
Is
that the pick?
I mean, wrong team.
Troll Warlord.
That's a pick they've gone to, and they won in their third game against CES. So
Troll's really strong. Really, really strong.
Why you say that?
He makes all his allies attack faster. Range form or melee form. He can permabash people. The mischance is crazy. I just feel like Troll's one of those heroes that he hits his stride pretty quickly. You don't have to go into super late game, super farmed for him to be effective. But as he gets to that point, he's just really strong. He gets strong fast and he stays strong as the game progresses. Kind of similar to Terrorblade used to be considered more of a really late game hero, but nowadays he just pushes with meta, takes all your towers, and he's strong. I mean, we saw that with BSJ against Mind's Eye when they knocked them down. It was a total wipeout. I think they're looking to repeat that now.
They're looking to repeat it with a kind of similar draft that they had in that game, but they're looking at different opponents as Gorilla's Pride is trying to see if they can get one on the board and stay up in the upper brackets as we go into the second game. Silva, before you leave us and tell us the good luck and have fun and all, is there a team that you favor in this based off the draft?
I'm going to have to say I want to see Gorilla's Pride win, so I'm going to go with Gorilla's Pride.
I'm okay with that.
Good luck, have fun, boys.
Thanks.
Appreciate that one.
Yeah, based off of the heroes, I would really like to favor Leviathan. Again, like we've seen a pretty good performance out of BSJ with his Terrorblade. We've seen a pretty good performance out of, I was going to say B-Pipes, but B-Pipes is actually taking up the Dazzle and leaving Nusham to show us what he's got on the Rubik. But the one thing that has been consistent is this Mirana with Garter. So
Wait,
they have...
Look at this. There's an observer where that's just literally dropped on the ground rather than placed.
What?
Yeah. Literally dropped on the...
It's the Statue of Liberty play, dude. It's the Statue of Liberty because they're going to see Mager with the spot gone for the ward and think he dropped it, but no, they'll probably see it on DLC, just like the actual play from football, one of the most known trick plays that doesn't really do a whole lot. Same thing happening here. But that just shows you they're pulling out all the stops to try to get any advantage they can get, as we have all of the Gorillas lurking into the jungle, trying to posture up and take this bounty rune.
And they'll get it. There isn't much that they can do to compete in on that fight. It would be very scary for the Radiant to try to take a tier, or level 1 fight like that, knowing the compositions that they'd be going up against. But I like the way that they played this out, because Monkeys Forever is going to have an okay time in the top lane as a solo Abaddon against Silencer and Troll Warlord. As Troll gets up his levels, he's going to be able to Bachelord him down, and it's really going to come down to a Photic Shield.
Hey, timeout, man. That's a tri-lane coming up there. How you feel about that one?
That's what Abaddon DZ's supposed to deal with, but it all comes down to how Mager rotates in.
Dire's courier has been killed.
What? Courier went down in the middle lane, found himself in the river somehow as Chris Brown is taking a couple of arrows to the back. Luckily, he got his salve, but it doesn't matter too much. His Garter leaps in, pops the salve, and pieces out. So with his salve still in tow, that's going to leave him with a pretty big advantage unless Mager...
He's rotating in, but Garter had good positioning on this overall. So this is just really him poking him and applying a little bit of harassment. not going to amount to much overall. Moger has 5 tangos, so he'll be trying to heal up and make some moves happen afterwards. Top lane, though, Monkeys Forever taking a lot of damage from these guys. This is difficult as an Abaddon because he's going to have to try and rely as much as possible on a Photic Shield, and it's going to be able to get burned very quickly by Silencer. And oh, look at this. They're chasing him down. They're using the last word.
Not like this, dude.
Not like this.
Turned around, tried to get the missed coil to deny himself, but he could not. And with him going down, what rises up in his return in his spot will be our first blood.io. Now, the one thing I did want to point out is that while Monkeys Forever is up there struggling in the top lane to get CS, he's gotten one advantage over DLC in the bottom lane, who's getting just bullied by Nusham. But Monkeys Forever is actually trying his best to stay around the creep and contest just to get XP, which is not really working out well at all, as he's going to go down a second time.
Magic Wand! No, it was so close. But we got Dazzle rotating in on here. So they're going to be able to return this in and get the kill in on one. Witch has fallen. He wants to continue the pressure on Troll Warlord, too. This dual support squad. And let's not discredit how Poison Touch was just reworked to being absolutely obnoxious. The right-click Dazzle. It'll be a thing eventually. Not this game, though.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing in your pubs. But the thing that could happen right now with this Dazzle is he could stay up here with Abaddon, who has level 2, because the thing I wanted to point out is that they've done such a good job zoning DLC that he is far behind on levels. Look at him, 4-2 in this bottom lane, as he's just getting punched by BSJ. So nobody else is needed down here except for a couple of Radiant or Dire supports to try to see if they can even this up. But if they do that, they're going to leave D in a pretty terrible position. So far, I have to say this is a job well done from the Green Squad.
Yeah, well, we've got Sand King rotating in on the mid lane here. Garter needs to be careful. He will have leap, so he'll be fine overall. And then the pressure back to the top lane. Oh, look at that. Dazzle able to get one of those wards countered out. So nicely played on that part. But, uh-oh, this is not a good thing for Silencer. He's going to get pulled on back, hit by a little bit of right-click from Abaddon. And honestly, it wouldn't have surprised me if they wanted to dive underneath the tower, try to force out that shield pop. But the ever-looming presence of where this Sand King is, kind of hard to make that call happen.
Nah, they don't need to do that and try to give any.
Well, they know where he's at now. Oh, and Nusham just stealing that right underneath his face.
There's going to be a burrow in 3. Maybe Mogger can steal this one from Nusham. And that he does. And with a
we've
little
got
help from
Silencer in with here, too. Now, Nusham might be in a bit of a predicament. The Arcane Curse going. Did he lose intelligence from that? I don't think so. Well, maybe he did, actually.
He might have lost intelligence, but he did not lose the reliable goal.
Warlord so close. He was almost dead, but he used the Berserker's Wing to drop back and forth. Then Monkeys Forever were able to get the cleanup overall.
Oh, that railgun. What you know about that? You don't know nothing about that, do you?
Clearly not.
Oh, man. We got to come from all walks of the esports here.
Garter getting the Starstorm in on Moger. Chris Brown jumping forward, trying to capitalize in on Garter, using the Fairy Fire and dying ultimately. Chris Brown doing a ton of damage.
Even though he went down to Chris Brown, that's not really the worst case scenario that could happen, because we haven't talked about the middle lane, and Garter has been crushing Chris Brown for the most part. Like, I've kind of popped in from time to time to see that Garter has had like a level lead, and I assumed at that point gold lead, but if you look at the net worth chart, he's still sitting relatively.
Oh no, Monkeys Forever top lane. Moger wants to jump in on this, but this might be a good opportunity for him to turn around on it.
No, those 3 heroes, man, you ain't going on that. Not with no mana.
He's got a magic wand. He's still an Abaddon.
That's 4 stick charges, dude. That's not enough.
If there's one thing I know about Abaddon, is that he wants to man fight.
How about in the bottom lane? This looks like a man fight. More like a one-sided ass kicking. Is there's 3 heroes in the bottom lane, more like 4 or 5, since the metamorphosis and the illusions are coming out on the tower. BSJ doing what he does best and just ripping apart offlaners and tier 1s before the 10-minute mark. Sitting on top of the net worth chart with about 3.5k. Is a solid 3.5 as he gets the last hit on that tower, and he's not stopping anytime soon. Going in on DLC, who thought he can come back to the bottom lane. Nushan with the lift to throw him back. Fade bolt as well. BSJ looking for one more, but the wand keeping him alive. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Chris Brown and Mager finding Garter. The return that they need, but somebody's got to come down here and stop the Slam Jamma. He's getting off to another one of his wild starts.
See, the thing is here, even if they were to come to the bottom lane at this point, BSJ is going to fall back on the jungle. He's going to be looking to go to the top lane too and push that out. But a lot of those times are going to be predicated on the next metamorph, whether it's going to be him to push the lane he's currently in or to make moves elsewhere. But before that, we know there's not going to be a ton of activity until at least the 8-minute mark.
Right. Oh man, so like, can they get to take the space? Because a lot of this will have to come on to Chris Brown, who has found his way above Garter, albeit just like a couple of CS, but he's struggling to really leave this lane. Like every time he wants to try to push Garter out, there's somebody to back him up. If Garter can't handle himself, B pipes here as well just to, well, I don't know if he gave him the salve, but without it, there's still a dazzle there. Point being that Chris Brown just can't like go and put anything on BSJ. And with that being said, like you pointed out, who's really going to take him out of the jungle? Who's going to take him off of the bottom lane? And if they can't get that accomplished, I think this is going to look very similar to the first game.
Monk is forever in the top lane. Is just going toe-to-toe to Troll Warlord, and this is just him trying to pressure him out to do something to make it so that he's able to reign supreme in it. And Monkey's Forever is very close in CS against Troll, and he's just jumping back and forth, playing with him with this aphotic shield. And when the next aphotic shield comes out, which is going to be right now, yeah, that was going to happen.
Your safe lane carry going down one on laner. Silencer pops in the ball time, and Wizard's trying to piece out. No proc of the aphotic shield is the route he needs to get back to the fountain, but we have a problem, my friend. You can't kill the Abaddon. BSJ is coming to take another tier 1 tower, and again, the only thing you have to rely on is one sonic wave. Like, what do?
Roar? That'll be something that exists eventually.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. DLC isn't 6. I mean, he's a couple creeps away, but again, his lane was so bad that he doesn't have it yet. So that means he can't come down and stun Nusham, who's slowly trying to walk away. Is there a burrow and one? Oh, just a little slow.
Gotta be careful here, Mr. DLC. He's gonna use the boar back in on Abaddon. Abaddon's just gonna farm this out. Man, I love playing Abaddon. The way that the shield works allows you to trade both HP and mana so effectively with anyone in the game.
I'll tell you a trade that doesn't go down. This is a one-sided trade going to BSJ. Yeah, as B pipes with the solid blocks, keeping Widge there and setting BSJ up for yet another kill. Still sitting on top of the net worth with his about 5.5K. And I thought he had more kills. This dude is 101, not trying to see any heroes in front of him except for anybody who wants to fall to the might of the Terror Blade. So DLC is coming up, and he finally has Roar. B-Pipe's trying to get away, gets yelled at. And BSJ, he's out. He's like, you came up here, you wanted to help me, taking the gate, catch you on the flip side, my friend.
Oh, yeah. See, it's the thing where, like, even if Dazzle has Grave, he's not going to be able to get out of most of these situations. And ultimately, it's because we've got a Troll that can just bash like crazy, Sand King stun, and then only Roar. Now, if the Beastmaster is able to summon up a neutral that gives him the sort of properties that he's looking for, then we've also got that on our plate, too.
Speaking of Troll, check out the bottom lane. Borrow time, getting popped. I don't think anything else is going to happen. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Because Mager was coming in, but his TP was late. I think DLC came down to the tier 2 first, which gave him a delayed TP, but nothing really happened there. The thing I wanted to point out about Dazzle, though, is you were talking about the Grave not being one of the biggest deterrents, especially since Mager has, or especially since since the Dazzle, excuse me, had to use it on himself. But you have to look at what happens in the grand scheme of things. Sure, he still dies, and sure, that was a grave on himself. But who was allowed to walk out because of that? The main man himself. So that is a win in its own right.
Oh, well, that's the thing. It's space created all day long, and now see what's happening here to Moger as a Poison Touch comes out. We got the lift drop, stunned out. Nusham picking up the kill on him. And BSJ's farming away in the top lane, taking up this stacked large camp. And this tier 2 tower in the bottom lane looks like it could be susceptible to taking fire, but the rotations are coming in from G-Pride on BSJ. They scouted him out with the Hawk, and they want to go in on this. DLC's taking some heavy fire, but Metamorphosis is going to be down relatively soon. Only about a third of it left in time. But this whole time, the bottom tier 2 tower taking some heavy fire, but now in on Rubik. Rubik taking an epicenter to the face. Abaddon forced to use a borrowed time, but not even in the best situation since he wasn't able to save anyone off of it or break any big purges. It's just him trying to peace out.
It's okay because they forced rotations to the bottom lane. So if BSJ really wanted to, he has everybody up here. Well, I can't say everybody. He had a few people up there to help take the tier 2 tower, but he'll just take the space, wait for the Metamorphosis, go back, hit a couple more creeps. Garter, same thing as well. Opting to go with the magic damage this time as well. Having Ag queued up and already has the point booster in his pocket. How do you feel about that choice?
I think it makes sense because there's a good amount of armor coming out from the main people he's trying to kill, being the Troll Warlord. And there's going to be some of these summons that they're going to be dealing with too from Beastmaster.
All right.
So overall, having the ability to consistently take down the creep wave with Starstorm will probably work out well in his favor, along with making him tanky.
If you want to talk about a tank, look at this bottom lane as Monkeys Forever just had his borrow time proc, trying to see if he can get away from the entire G-Pride squad.
Oh,
there is a roar if they need it, but what the deny?
Yeah, buddy.
Bad Don Deezy? Out on his own terms, not giving any gold to anybody? Monkeys Forever.
Lift in on Quap. Arrow not going to connect. Silencer ultimate. Just another way that they can help with that disengage.
That's... I don't know if that's on Nusham for that arrow missing or if that was a great play by Witch because he had the telekinesis, but he wasn't able to throw it back. I don't know if it's because he couldn't get it in time or if Widge denied him. Either way, that allows Chris Brown to stay alive and get another haste rune in his pocket. Second one he's had in the bottle. He almost lost something. Yeah.
That was a Midas. BSJ murdering Chris Brown real quick. Down to under a third of his HP. We've got the weave procced out. BSJ pressuring in on this tower. The arrow did connect in on Sand King. Moger gonna go down. Monkeys Forever actually picking up that kill. Curse of the Silent, persisting strong. Arcane Curse, my word. But won't really matter. The spells are already cast. Let's take this tower, buddy.
I'm glad you pointed out what Chris Brown was rocking. I did not know that he went with a Midas. Do you see what's happening to this tier 2 tower? I don't think that you will get to see much of a game with a Midas. So
yeah, I know. I believe me. I'm seeing what is happening, especially with there being a Midas picked up on the Queen of Pain rather than a Veil or something else to help give them more damage now rather than later. But they're looking for the later.
I don't know if there's going to be a later. There's a roast happening. Gears having to scramble to get a TV scroll just to get there, and because of that, I kind of question if they'll be able to make it there in time. Second Hawk coming out to make sure they're still in the roast pit. Yes, they're still beating up on Roshan with the Sonic Wave coming in.
We've got a great ultimate on BSJ. The Sunder is going to be what is needed to keep him up for just a moment. Now, he still has the Aegis, the shield, keeping him out of there. Shockwave connecting in. Back to BSJ. Stunned out by Moger. Now, we have one fall. That's DLC, but BSJ... he's so low, but he still has the Aegis, and it doesn't matter. Monkeys Forever kept up for such a long time, and now we've got the Troll Warlord ultimate coming out, murdering everybody, shredding and dicing and in and through, because he just does so much attacking in such a brief amount of time, and the Silencer ultimate not really doing much overall. BSJ taking out Widge. That's a 4-for-1 exchange. They may have lost the Aegis, but that won't matter overall.
Bro, they won the war. That's really what matters at this point. Hell, BSJ was nice enough to let that Hawk live. What a good guy. But yeah, with that fight going down, Leviathan coming out on top, like you said, I think this is going to be the start of their split play again. DSJ already in the top lane, and Garter on the top half of the map. I that's the part that kind of questions me. Since they already have the tier 2 mid down, I kind of wonder how they're going to make this work. Chris Brown trying to see if he can come up top and keep the creep wave far away from the tower. But again, all he's really working with is a Midas. So a lot of the heavy lifting at this point is going to have to come out of Dia, who has Morbid Mass.
Trevor's looking like he's in a bit of a predicament down here with DLC. DLC does have Roar available. Monkeys Forever getting silenced out in just a moment by that Arcane Curse. They might look to follow up on here, but now Widge, he's taking some heavy fire. Mogul coming in off it. Monkeys Forever using the ultimate. Now back in. There's that Roar. And now he's just going to get sliced and diced down. He goes so fast.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Losing that dominating streak and giving it to Widge. And now Widge up to only 8 smarts. So he isn't going as crazy intelligence-wise as we've seen in some of the previous games. But, well, just previous showings of Silencer. But there is use to what he's doing here. He's trying to use his ultimate tactfully to deal with some of these big ways that the engagement is happening. What do you think the problem is, though?
The fact that they sent 4 people down to kill Abaddon while the team was going one step closer to winning the game. Like,
oh, you're talking about BSJ hitting objectives and taking objectives. Got it.
Yeah. Like, it was good that they didn't use their ult to blow up Monkeys Forever, but the problem is they took the time to actually go fight Monkeys Forever without seeing where anybody else is. And every time they lose that, Leviathan is going to punish them across the map. And at this point, they're going to just take Wiz out of the equation as well.
Goodbye. That's a Starstorm in his face. And now they're using a defensive weave in order to pressure the high ground.
Defensive, I think this is the definition of offensive. Metamorphosis being popped, wings coming out as we are slapping this tier 3 tower. Silencer down for 20 seconds, so that's a global silence they don't have to worry about. Dia throwing out some whirling axes, trying to see if he can scare him away, but BSJ and Monkeys Forever are never scared. On the backside, Mager getting the epicenter.
Nusham is going to get saved by the Shallow Grave, and whoa, the Troll Ward is down. B-Pipe's actually the one to save that kill, and Rubik is in the Sandstorm right now. So this Roar coming up from DLC didn't even do anything for them. Between Monkeys Forever and B-Pipes, they're able to keep everybody up A-okay.
BSJ's just been hitting racks the entire time, and this is the first time he's gone off of the objective, just trying to slap Widge down one more time before he comes back for the range racks. And yeah, I want to go ahead and say this is another one in the Leviathan page book. Chris Brown agrees with me as he tapped out, and G Pride, as well as they fought in the beginning of this, just got mowed over by the monsters of Leviathan, and they will be moving on into, I believe, the upper bracket finals.
Checking in on that to verify, but I believe you are correct, sir. Leviathan moving on to play Sacred tomorrow. And that is going to be G Pride now fighting against Mind's Eye? No, Mind's Eye is out.
I think CES.
Yeah.
CES versus Gorilla's Pride will be tomorrow. And probably the winners finals as well, I believe.
Correct.
So, yeah. Guys, that game, BSJ is just unstoppable on Terrorblade. He can't be beat.
I mean, at the same time, you have to say Garter's unstoppable on Mirana.
Yep, very true. Man. Poor Gorilla's Pride.
What are you going to do against Leviathan? Leviathan are taking these games in straight turbo mode Dota.
It's what it's going to take is somebody's going to have to actually draft strong lanes or get really strong supports to win the lanes so that they don't come out on top in everything. Because in all 4 games that we've seen, again, they've just dominated the lane. The most questionable lane that Leviathan has shown us is the tri lane from game one with the Weaver, the Rubik, and the Night Stalker, and it was questionable because we questioned if it broke even or won. Any other time, they've either won the lane flat out or they've won at the end of the day by having one lane so strong that rotations had to come into it. So at some point in time, maybe it'll be Sacred, but it'll take somebody putting up a strong wall in the beginning just to stop the flood coming out of Leviathan.
So you're saying early pressure is what you need to do to kind of thwart this momentum of Leviathan?
If not pressure, just have lanes that don't falter over and just like fall flat. Because again, it's not so much that they have to kill Leviathan, but they can't let like these lanes just go however they want. Like it would take the lines of like having a really strong defensive support to where they can maybe let a roamer try to get something started, or to at the least burn all the time of the supports and allow the other lanes to actually set on their leads and actually make something happen. But as it's been in these 4 games that we've seen from Leviathan, like it doesn't matter what happens in their 2 solo lanes because their supports and whatever lane they're in just do so much that they bring attention from the other lanes.
Truly an amazing performance by Leviathan again. Very excited to see how their game pans out against Sacred tomorrow. Gorilla's Pride is down but not out, as they will be knocked down to the lower bracket. Any thoughts on Purse.io play of the game, Sky or Doggy?
That really didn't even cross my mind.
It happened fast.
Yeah. I got nothing. I really got nothing. That was just clip the whole game. It was less than 20 minutes.
I don't think that's the exact whatever. You know what? Let's go with the entire destruction that ended up resulting in the downfall of G Pride, the quote-unquote defensive weave that then they took it into the high ground with the metamorphosis and just shredded everything as they had way too much armor.
Yeah,
to count.
That's a pretty good one.
I would say either that or the Roshan fight, where they tried to contest and basically just fed 4 kills.
that was a good one. That was a good one too.
Flip a coin and pick one. Both of them are pretty solid in my books.
All right. Well, let me bring you guys back up on camera. Oh, rip.
Huh? What'd you do?
You're alive. You're alive. Had a blank screen for a second.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this is the conclusion of our day 4 of Blood on the Streets America's 2017. Thanks again for tuning in. Remember, this is supported by Purse.io and Antlion Audio, and brought to you, of course, by FirstBlood.io. Make sure you head over to FirstBlood.io to sign up for the beta. Love to give another shout out as well to Balance Patch for anyone that is in the Boston area. That's a LAN center that was just recently opened, so you want to come play some games, go check that out. We will be back again tomorrow, the 11th, with an all day. We'll have an upper bracket, Sacred versus Leviathan, and followed up by a lower bracket between Gorilla's Pride and I'm
CES.
I'm
Is it
stuttering.
CES.
CES. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you all soon. Hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you, Sky and Doggy.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us, and thank you to FirstBlood.io. Guys, if you haven't checked out the beta yet, they're giving out some sweet items for just grinding on that ladder. 1v1s, 5v5s if there's enough people around, and practice your stuff. Put your money where your mouse is, and win some free items.
Come play. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Peace.
Calling all Amazon shoppers and lovers of Bitcoin. Want to enjoy huge discounts while shopping with Bitcoin and save on millions of products? Purse.io is now better than ever before. With Name Your Discount, users stand to save an average of 15% on all their purchases. Buy now. Instantly search for Amazon items on Purse.io and save 5% just by using Bitcoin to check out. Purse.io. Finally, a reason to use Bitcoin.